brand new. The kind of brand new. The kind of brand new. The kind of brand new. Bread ye wajina kunyao. Inshiraka neat etiefonyina. Ozioma ADAKABRI oribo baby. The kind of
Yesi okwan tware suo ena suo tware okwan panyin ni hwan a yebo okwan betu asuo ozioma ADAKABRI frimpong manso wagina konya babiewu
ya mama ho na ya mama tenase ye free need 100.9 FM so ene se ye ba na suoi na ene eye ukuada ene ya wada so hu matokwan na ene ya we no ahini mebusumi na yewom ne da etosu edu emiensa afi empino aduonu emienu mamsa abodonko apa umiti edu enson na yetena ase a need 100.9 FM dwumadi ade bramo no memanti omani ntini se menua ba ma me biama biamzi 1 me gigi ne so oba kura wada mema mu na ewose agigi ne so da nyina anu akire no nso so no ana me me di ho chia me frame ADAKABRI Mamudu Oshioma senior co-character amansan chia me Harrison Ford Staff Sergeant Kwabna Mavuo Kabne Over na ni manya fenti no de cha akata nani na msedam kwa meka akire no
na me niasa mpanso
ai obi agwa wonye machi odi panu awade ade akata nani nani manya fa wampese ebe hu nanim tantenti no ode ade akata nani no kwabna da pen abeti wanim
no wa pe mani mahwa
opo ai kese so opo be man kansem hunu se no
na go be nim na da ma body sana
be man kansem hunu se no ode cha akata nani
fa nya ensem hunu wo ho sometimes eduru baby a amza no kurati se kuni
sa
no kure atise kuni esayade but ne kanwa de pa it takes a nipa kakra bi ne betumi aka no kurati of one we say ahayai edebia ye nya start economics ya na ase matipu bibi in kakra of us Mr. Diniama His Excellency the Vice President Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia said the biameka say anya said yanka o panio debi anya de na kwansere pane say wasen say wona ni tiri hwefo mu na nka wo fi say young man 59 years wonim say wo brighter future intinka economy say enya nie na nka de tia de say ne ye boni tiri so ne enso watafre ntumi ansa bedam a na fra kokwantuwa
so watafre
wantumi ansa bedam a na fra kokwantuwa
kokwantuwa so ofri kwatwe ni ase
oh yes offer so we study Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia adia oye nyina ne ya adiaeboa nipa sitiremu ne yeyedi sa wo sha digitalization ho ebi te say first ya utia light bill water bill ne ya wosa line no wo say sisi ani ho bio ede ahoto abrayem pa ana ba no sa digitalization say we discard to account we be a free account wa momoni ade no a eno so the same thing of a sadia we ya we ye etumi ama corruption kura say etumi atu ase bebre enti da bia me ka say onu pe say die onya problem yesika sam so afo yesika sam so afo onu no ye problem
kuntunkrunkun
yes
onu so ti na yetimi nya reshafu yo
yes I know say
onu sunti eni yetimi nya reshafu no wo go ya reshafu a giso yi ni ka ho wo yi ni ka ho so enya yie e do obi antena de ote
yes me did the pass say often two feet say ye ni young boys ya ye gbobere yi enka ya betena wonom se yenwu ye ho anim ase e wa abrabom na nka da bia yente ya dapa ate se wo de dabi se di wa mobra dabi
ana hook up na aba so
dabi nya se de ya pa ya ho anie enso da bia wono wakwa kopie no minim pa se onya anko obeye se ya ma
Abraham min kan chiro
wo fa minim
dia hie no kura ne se wo frɛ economic management team meeting
yeah
ukuntun kununkunu se ye frɛ du a obeba mu amiensa pɛ enso no wo ma omu se gina yeso se ye ni se ya wo mfi wo no aboatu
yes
enti duru ba bi kura na mama do Bawumia kura no na mo farm economics no wanwene ne ho
won say dan no na me ka say Dr. Bawumia was a matured politician because offer what to say ya ninu ya can ewu enka de akoso nyina mabeka
there be ukaso enye yi
good but no won say was a penny enti yes penny dia matemante sa no obo na bra enya de obofuo ko nwura mu nyina na obabontia
obi ni onya adwere no ofra mi no
enya de obofuo ko nwura mu nyina na obefia aya wobeka ampa minim se Ghana fo bebre no abeka se na yono a untumi mforte Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia bebre no untumi mforte no bebre ye problem sikase no ano agina nipa baako ye sikasam so afo ono na problems ni nyina gina no so ofa wo fi se Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia nti said economy tie wope
osi enyeji Dr. Bawumia so kakra na enyeji so no efri so se ne kaninka process for chewa ana insurance ni edwa wo ho ene process ni kire wa no wo hwe ni din na so cash insurance na sempe na ka che ana isusu omo but star 920 hash 57 star hash na card number ni bo the president ka wona be kire madwuma ni nyina kire se nei no with the registration number of the vehicle no bibia ye den etime call
o family de aya asam no aya no kra o kan wanopa ebedu awiabre no aye fi
anti ono so ono so ni good points ni bi no
oh yes Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia anya se wonyank wonye wo fi se ye jade na ma no se wonje na yenim se de sankofo we how difficult they are
we adem na wi afi na betlase aba keke de
oh dabi
wo dem na
na ya ba ko pe wo mo ye very difficult wo ka bibia ebe kwa akosi no so one pene your pen obeye one ma kwan and one ate wonom and na de open kwa and woye and say you inflation and nam
37 point something
7% no who said the open ho ani who said the open ho ani
we have the men for pa inflation baby and nam no
na bi wo fa anya so obi ti baby no omu eba social media so obeka sa na omu tada fa sa wote wona wo kase Ghana ye situation sisi eya onka nokre sa wote wona wo kase asitire mu ye all is well onka nokre onya nokwafo kwa sori na kwasere mpaibo
sa na beka
oh ofa me say sa wote ho na wo say eya onka nokre onka nokre
na wote wo now say eya
onka
na just onka nokre
say inflation say business for say tax nkwa ene damete say onsu bempa entagu amisha dai so say wono so ka ho ene say MPP for aban wo bre because wono no no onka ho what in the baby no one Dr. Kabinedufuo na ya adwuma ena the bank here wono ana no yes atam no enjoy eno na da no metia ka say omu tumi tu omu nsunugu no ma ko fa asa awasem kana koja damwa ya no ye ene dakura na odi ne birthday wono a woye omu nipa no o one play kata asese ne proya ase no eyi na sinten Mr. Dai ya ma no 3 months aka ho na o Canada pa se wono ka ho ene wo mu problems bebre ekoso
no eni ba foforo be ba wate and if from a Bawatiana,
yeah,
you are come to Yamati. I say a Yamishada or a free Guadano, if I from a bar. Then if I from a bar, a dear Amishada enter me anya a year or nona obit me ababe.
Of woman and a 3 months, I come home.
Said Nina as a Mr. Guado Beco. Bye.
Dear way in me.
You are the way in me, Beco.
I want to
Obeco, if you are coming to him now. Or Moano at the corona, Untunkunko, de airborne and his one. Now or no ancasa, I had a bay. At me, Ashe, Akanasem. And to Akuma to him, Matiana. Na a year, Dr. Bawumia. Menkane strengths ka crunchro. Menkane strengths ka crunchro. And said Dr. Bawumia, Ukrainian. He has had a great working career. On say or a Oxford graduate. And now or a PhD scholar in economics. Just what me who do the position of Deputy Governor of Bank of Ghana. So our solid experience. And now he's been running mate for 8 years and vice president for 8 years. So and Dr. Bawumia or campaigning quite effectively. And our MPP at the buy so and our MPP so I'm call 2012 no. Now he was the star witness during the election petition. And Dr. Bawumia had a year 16 years of visibility and awareness as a running mate and a vice president. So and an loyalty, fidelity, and dedication to Nana Danko Kufuado no unquestionable. So and a suitable age. At age 59, you're the birthday party. I was at the book I see me yanking. Now, a year or no, he leads that group of innovators now. A year digital innovations champion. So, no, the paperless passport system, e-passport system, mobile money interoperability, and a universal QR code, a digital address system. And a medical drone services is wrong. Yeah. Now he's quite unique and consistent in his position. So, media and institutional support to speak very, very strongly on the economy and finance, communication, digitalization, health, education, and other topical national issues. So, he has incumbency advantage, and he's using it to the maximum. Now, our unlimited access to funding to influence internal elections. So, now use of party and government appointees, machinery, structures, and what is supporting the campaign. Now, as a strong person, he dominates party executives, MPs, MMDCs. Now, for instance, super lawyer, super delegacy says our support base, Now, he plays up as the minority or the northern tribal caste to his advantage. And now Okuta national appeal across ethnicity, religion, and persons of all ages and gender. Now he symbolizes religious tolerance and offers persons of Christian and Muslim faiths and their clergy due to recognition, often financial support and attends to their programs. The Samira Bawumia effect, very effective. Makaka kradi achiromo omo your analysis and say would develop obi to say an analysis of Dr. Bawumia kakra mekanie. There are great opportunities for him. Na the strength no so no na me di achew.
And of one will say eniyama working kan nyina kire say wo opese okwanim wo ade bia oyimu on pese but ye ebinim wo ho a wo musuba ye te se esabe dunkwanponte a ya wo kan wo ye dan a wo muto hefa sa pe wonu say se party no ekọ opposition a ebe ha no pa but sika some so afọ party no opposition and can quote and can set dia ye be ya ne se bia ye de ne court akoniaba besin ko yi hu no besin ko yi hu
I didn't be court.
Oh, definitely. Court there so.
Oh, sir.
Na said ye wo see to amazing kasem dey say definitely obeko. Enti akoniaba but obeka so anya politics bio. Wono Flagbearership eninimu. Wonya already so operani mate edi. Wowie pe wo kosi no office akoya counseling. Enti hwe mfa no ho. Bibia mfa no ho. enti I am in for to Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia bebre of a wofi say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia on to mean turn things around. He can do it. But what a friend to me answer Bejuma. Nefra kokwantua.
Hey, tafre wanya de ya.
When to me answer Bejuma.
Nefri wan.
Akokwantua.
Kuntun na kana sem yo. Oh God, na. Ani nyina ne se.
Obi a wo bi party messing over. Akwa opposition ya. Okobi office akwaya counseling.
Oh sir.
Why your financial aspect because one pray Flagbearer. One pray running mate. The nian say akwatena but ye wo binom wo ho a party ni ko opposition and you feel it.
Yan konko ye political analysis kakra. Na Dr. Amachi Boateng wo Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Na varied issues na yene ni bedi hu nkomo titewaso na yentie ne ye. Dr. Amachi Boateng yamwa ha.
Yemia.
Doc na humpo etisen awie yi.
Awadi Yesu Kristo da Roma me hoye.
Mate woni amamani age. Awie on varied political issues and other social economic issues. Doc, Sir Freddie Blay, former chairman of the MPP, our chambers, our lawyers, a year Juma chambers. If my mind serves me right, Grana former Attorney General, Glory Wefua, Ekufu, na Onokurano, or just a partner, our chambers. Na Ghana Bar Associations, as I said, will be cut see. Na wanya aso yellow light and say, "Wa hwehwe passenger for ugina no a na kire ne se ba bia wo koni a taxi driver ne ntimi nka nkire wo say memfa anko so long as we adwuma ne de so de wo ba bia wo kro no saa so na lawyer ni no ni chambers wo no obi nya asem no okọ na saa asem no ohwe adanse ewomuo no ohwe existing rules ayamra ewo ho a ense so otimi deny ne say wasem we de menka for one or two reasons. Freddie Blay Chambers defended elements are associated with Aisha Wanga. What do you know saying?
ADAKABRI midawase na michia atifo. Amanyosem ewo su bi. Yedi kan se oman nyina ewo asodie ema oman no. Oman nyina oman pia ne fapi ene omamran na omamran so no so oman ma ejitu no mu free wo mu pem e de ye adwuma eno na ma oman no fapi no ejina na mu ye du na ma oman no ibre no so ejina nti emran no so ma ho kwan so obi anya adwuma ni nti ko ba se obi a lawyer na asese otu sa na monia ogiri se obetimi atu emreko no no so no yesan so ene oman no ewo okuta ho bi ewo se yesan hwe ma oman no ejina na enipa bi ma wo mo edi oman no akoye se oman no papa no ene wo mo etutu ase ADAKABRI Ohawa Galamse, a Ghana business is no. Mimi who is a national security challenge. Me, Sana Mihuno. The Emma Pastor of my one Kasa Eumusa. And until what we call prudential obligation to the state, and a moral obligation to the state. And until to what extent are we going to feel obliged to the state and why? Miyama Juma na bibi say aba. Meet me any miami hoso. Enko ya Juma mpesika emu mibotu. Ezika mi pa kubi botu mi suno. Saina fa o mine ho. Eko fa ankrankra bia. Wabeye a major chair. of, a chair of a major political party. Near political party, in the year, that political party, that's all a band. Uba, what's not going and chair. Can't home now they are buying or we up. Sarah Galamte to me. On my beer, as you say, no constitution, border on parliamentary, parliamentary system. I mean, every crown can you can't say from a community form. If you say in summer or no, I broke so far Galamte, no. Now, and I'm more what to me to a farm. On my car, or can't say, but this I could give you men because you trade your farmer to be that. Turning in our mind. And so you may be a now we are chairman of the political party. Not a ne. If he says now when I was signing, I quit in a hole. I did thank for instance, I'm a mawia. No, mine I need ye. No, mine I need ye. Who interest a driver mouth dear Jumano. Watch him. I call a new dodo. Now the issues of elements of moral obligation are one, Emma or minor. Put in a form. I'm fine, if she would own happy. ADAKABRI says everything is wrong with it. Everything is wrong with it. Everything.
Are you suggesting, sir, conspirators to Ashahwan? No? Wamu ain't me nya omu choice of who represent them in court na.
The whole issue is an interesting one. Can we say that omu nya obi ema omu enkujina homa omu ewo court?
Wamu si Freddie Blake Chambers and wamu share profile of that chamber any partners any councils ma they are led to believe say such chambers no bit me aboa wo
mo are very sharp because asem we no enye asem aye emra asem anko asem fa oman na man yo sem ho ti no mutu sa anamo na mutu ye no ti omo de o hwe enyama free omo nti asem a ADAKABRI will some ama. But then it's also up to Freddie Blake Chambers and media. To also see that he owes Ghana, at least morally, on certain core issues, a border on the very existence of Ghana. And it will be a border on Galamsey. He will also vow that his chambers will have nothing to do with Uncle Bia Wanamoto.
Because here can no the chamber, you know, one head of chambers, lawyer for ABA school, Wababa pupillage, Amane Yabejinatum, on your politician cry, and any a living operating from that chamber. And would you say, says a lawyer no, or conducted that matter of Ashahan co-conspirators here? Are we to suggest to say? And nam chamber ni din say Blay and Co, Blay and Associates, and sister that independent lawyer are all operating from that Blay and Co no. Why you did diana?
I won't say you can exactly say Uncle Bia was with the core interest that ye decline party say which one more with me now what me at na attached so. If yes, we are Juma, Ayetka, Aye. Be our Mukai. Then you knew my no critically. For sure, a prudential obligation, and basically, you know, man. But at the same time, you have a moral obligation to Omano. At the same time, you have a moral obligation. I don't you know, Omani, a wild fear, now who is out there. What you might we are the crowd. That's all who said. And I said, oh, wow, my name, I'm not a team. I'm kind of want to watch me as you do. See, from that angle, And that's who was our chambers more would be a don't better in same say.
Some moral obligation, no. Dr. Machi Boatin walking. Me papa Grantua Tiasia Franklin Adubo Grantua. Whenever catches a morality, Kant would want us to believe is the passion of the slaves. The yamfa morality enkasa. Na se ashawango se ne conspirators no se Ghana mra edaho na adansia tatua. I would say it doesn't matter who represents them. The law indeed will deal with them. And really, no, do we need to bother ourselves whether Blay and Co. Chambers and a prosecutor and conducted that matter on behalf of a year accused Nana?
Wisdom quality and can say.
Nyansa.
Nyansa degree or and some are with a true for him. Because I don't kind of a paper. Only by coming for yeah, old Jim Wamano, the lawyer from will not matter. Anything a Mranwa, a Bay Juma, Ama, a dear, some Edanosono, a Wakoda. But I'm the courier, you can't throw away ethical issues in society. Society, bien, it's not a Mrato in Kwa. Society, be able. The two always go together. And you know, I'm running now. Yeah, more normally, norms and values. When these norms and values, it may be they contain ethical issues. It may be the Ujina and also the eventually you find yourself operating like a machine. You'll be cutting children's hands simply because they have violated certain rules and regulations.
You tell the weekend, dear. Nature said, will be a wakumunipa on the face of it free so different. And says a lawyer Biakra echo defending no.
I'm not necessarily making that, So who said the Ukum Nipa na sa Kumi a bois ma or mine 8 now. Then you realize that becomes a different issue. I'm not looking at it that way. May you share an amount of nipa poor and say or minor. But you can't the Lamse issue, no, borders on national security issue. And you have somewhere bet me or how can say about mind down. That is the angle. And Opia or Asudi, Ghana need Pia or Asudi, so about or minor home a bank. And yet it's about Kupenkwa. And from this angle, and I'm different in some of the
So in the instance, you tell the who can dear na qualified and practicing lawyer being and a bit me a representative or
well, we leave that question there. But be answer a bit me go to be not a quack.
Because you to dear, let us a lawyer be obey elect to say, obey brief nibiano. Just a woman ever fan say, well, yes, about 2 a beer.
It might not necessarily be that. Here we are looking at your shed and crab crabia. What to an amount after my yaman yourself? Our price room also. Yes, you beam the present them racon one so a shepherd will be a one some call maybe a year someone. Set your piano, would you say? A randomly be a big janet. It's set your young will be explicitly welcome nipa in a crowd. Only nipa who could know my chief or a court. You see, I catch you for our classroom. Almost me in some thing, a call Angus with Drea, a woman. But your brabo one can society more. We don't necessarily do that. There are certain things that immediately the extent to which it will stretch it and Here we are looking at the very survivor of Ghana. Nipa cancer and say yeah, if you do what you're doing, Ghana becomes you. Nipa cancer your cocoa plantations and say Nipa cancer yes one look we are looking at Ghana's national security issue.
Ghana national security issue no. Are we to believe we say yetimi a prosecute, a convicted, and subsequently sentenced Sankrofo way under the laws of Ghana? No problem, no, not as well.
No, we'll still be scratching the surface of how. Problem we'll go to the Chinese ambassador and send you the people and saying, and for you, one, I said, or 2 years in Yantaban, a buy, only in Crassi, only in Babia. Inconsistent of how we Babia acquire, ye move says, you who say a political issue. I'm saying issue now can a political issue. And until now, did say it's in your home, it's in your home. The who is a political issue. Oh, just some diplomats. I'm making some comments. It been some high powered people be say issues no. And all these indicate a political issue. Solution has to be political. Now all the time baby na a solution. Solution is the persecution of our Asafun. And politics or might be politics domestic. And yet foreign. Or might be politics is domestic. So how no will come here. And his ambassador only quoted and say, said, stand up on a hand. Someone in class there. And you want to call G Carter be a few be a hop at the Equia. That's a mood, Papa. Yes, it's kind of for the cuckoo now. That I'm saying, she will still be scratching the surface.
So no, and Chebia just last week, America need me a buy. Emma was it walk a year a crazy don't cook chrome as a debicoto chrome or where do you sue ye? You try or ye map the chair, me who say, a year 7 miles away from Nkranza. I'm on the minute now, send me a dream. A year quite obey me a fasua, obey me a drew ho, am a resolve okay, a cheap as a or befa a year touching my car, you do touching my 18 miles away on the eastwards, a young Kranza, who do Kranza towards such a dumase, a 7 miles away. Tell Kruno or no American knee and enemy say, and pass what I could do atomenkra. So this Google map up there, are we still to believe we say a year will be a cockatoo will be baby a BB one?
That's not necessarily the case. A year to me, Yadi, a yes, Juman, and the king. A year to me, the yes, Juman. Young enemy said, I want one, and my fine ma with me, do to me. The extent to which I with me, uncle, there be our uncle. In the 2 minutes, this is a no go. Now all shares to say, it's a no, pepe, and now be our way, you may be our day. A home, and not in now, a shot here. Now, as fine, TV. Essentially, and yet one more area, manual per se, and how to feel one more. One more, Yamo 2 meters, one more chef, and she said, no. Someone you, someone you, yes, catching all joy, TV, the documentary, nobody.
Erastus Sasaridonko.
I, you know, you win, someone else. And tell of my brow, and tell of my and neither hope, OCS in home, Elko anymore. And tell my and Tiasia, a fat and cost development, and they. Above someone a one kind of sustainable development. And tell my sound my what you see a case of lawlessness. Papa no documentary no. You see lawlessness. That is exactly what you see. And you know how ram or man or man tree war with them. So I'm find shit and you may
Joe, enti CSE etio ye dia. Doc, to see as a yen our hands are in the air. Galamsey asemi afono yen. Ana insasi so na say environment is so ana a degree emissions any carbon emissions ebe ana ebu nkamfo so emuni akoma yade bebrebe enumu se minor seasons kura no ensuo eto fire ene ultra edeko Nigeria over 14 states ana aflade with the free Senegal sane de aba Ghana ha. The sea is rising. To see what do we do?
Mimi njiri sɛ sanse mi a wokan deɛ yɛntifo nyinaa gye ato mu sɛ the corporate nankasa mfiri abibima mu ha na amaaman a wɔmanya wɔn ho awie no ɛkwan a wɔfa so nya wɔn ho ɛna ɛkwan a wɔda so nam so no ɛno no impact more on the environment ɛkan abibima mu ha yɛn yɛ dwuma yɛdi a ɛsɛ ɔman anaasɛ ɛnsɛ ɔman nti ɛno ɛwɔ hɔ ma woyɛ no tu nkyɛn a so we are not looking at the bigger environment. We are looking at our immediate environment. What I'm saying is that politics and the politics in a being every home. I think about democratic politics. There is 2 million only the idea they give me some simple and straight. And no pet answer politicians among the phone or so Ghanaians should be prepared to take power from the people they have given it to and then to hand it to another person. And Ghanaians should let them know that is what we are going to do to you people because of A, B, C, D. The Galamsey alone is enough for Ghanaians to come to this particular conclusion.
Dr. Machibuatin, Yadwa say your views on Galamsey. Yanko political issues so ekakra since 1992 na 2 dominant political groups the National Democratic Congress and the New Patriotic Party. New Patriotic Party since 92 omo ade John Kufuor abedi 8 years Nana Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo on course for 8 years. Na what's a assessment of the performance of the current MPP government in the 4th democratic dispensation here. I don't know
the from one casa. But still, I'm not say to me, ebi ano. I don't back up any. On my no uncoso. Social scientists, a fellow free. A family, the political and economic. And the political development and economic development. You can't political development that you share and to hear your team go across. You share ama my ma at me, I think to be and to piano at me. Essentially, the constitution of the state. Yeah, just to say the not if you want to share the political development. I'm looking at institutionalization of our political activities, our political organization, political procedure. I think and you know, Ghana, in 1993, January 7th, ever. And you may be that and yet, Ibabako and a I look at Bonifa and Nam to Mars and say, no, a chance. Now, some few and a more money. I credit Jay Rollins with it. Hungry, basically, the 4th Republic, the politics, and I credit Jay Rollins. Then you bring in Jay Kufuor from the time of the party elections of 1992, and I'm all 2 years, Jay Kufuor Bible stabilized the whole thing, supported the ongoing political activity, and gave legitimacy to Jerry's government, even latter party, the first government, and then subsequently after 96, about one by the poster, the real actions and inactions of the supported the whole activities and there is government from 96 economy came stronger because of the Kufo, although in the opposition, accepting the outcome of the election and agreeing to play the role of the leader of the opposition. A very critical, a man, a political development, it developed a strong foundation. In the field of Ghana has built on it. The main challenge now is economic development. That political development that's my young king, and I don't come. So we expect him to be addressing issues in the area of economic development. Obia woni die ewo oman sika sem me picking them kakra every Dr. Bawumia I'm the national accountant. So when the fundamentals are weak, the maniama be basis. If I have a great party no for another people, they like to and omunya that World Bank leader you by some lady and also blame COVID and then Russia, Ukraine, a major external shock. Let's say, be a root million free. But when you are seeing a external shock, a bar, a mantra, Cote d'Ivoire, and there's a bottle Burkina Faso, and there's a bottle Togo, Benin, Nigeria, not everything like Ghana. And saying, World Bank, Eka, remember, my mind is thinking, now what do you? And the Ghana city, to South Sudan, and some other countries. The West African Trust, we use in Nigeria, I don't know what the Ghana city. To Ghana, now it's covered, in quantity, and I'm going to see I say. I'm going to see some I say. Obviously, but about me a dictum, being relevant here. The fundamentals are weak.
Now, fundamentals are weak here. Walking. Ube susu say the brand MPP as suffer necessarily now. For which reason? A bit me affect you more electorally.
ADAKABRI, I hope it's only time. And also, you will be there. Ghana, the government kept their number. Original brand. It's only time. And to the extent that Ghanaians are patiently waiting, go through the about 200 abandoned change about for Fraba. And Kasa, say, or mine papim and switch hope brand. Papim Nick and she say, this Amamui Air June. The Seno, Ayo Mamran, and I think the two constitution. Yes, the government is hope. Panipa, but testing the popularity or something region. If it's something in Mama at Twaba at Yawo. Nantiano, I can't say, on so ho baby or Munkono. It was like electoral action. It was not just him. It was not just him. It's the political organization.
It's not brand MPP, no. Is it under siege?
In the short run, I suffer irreparable damage. In the short run, it's going to take time for them to repair it. It's simply because we are showing leadership. You don't see anybody in the party, including the Council of Elders and everything. Nobody is coming out to suggest anything. It's just they have challenges in the way that things are going. Ordinarily, Okay, come on. You don't go public on issue. And you may be extra urging some people. You have to go public to let us know that at least there's somebody out there who think that things shouldn't continue to go the way they are going. We have not seen anybody. We have not heard anything.
What could have amounted to irreparable damage here? Political brand MPP as of a if we could see him.
But it can be a combination of Nyama Bibri. I mean, for Deba Coupe. Brilliant policies. Ronaldo, they go up and move back, not so from. The shall be praying a move. It won't be over. Now, on my mouth, who said a better problem. And that is the free SHS state. Mama Bibri, we almost so kata. Bakuya doctor before. Interestingly, Obia and teaching. When you know preaching, young Kwade Bakwa, maybe a technical, something for food and jobs. You can't want someone, only the crochet, so more. I replanting cocoa. They are rehabilitating cocoa plantations in Ghana. If you can cocoa, no, then you need to go Ghana before. Planting for food and jobs. Cocoa. ADAKABRI, several IS3. Seven IS3. You could also, here, Kotodia, your friend food to Ankasa. Yansanka, the organ be a more, they are kenda. A bro, they are kenda. Tomatoes, they are kenda. Planting for food and jobs in a way. When we now come home, and I saw damage, you know, or mine no asopa. More the car don't go. The goods and she am I my God, a man in MNT. The Sheben Pan and I woman. Jeben on can't say, or more bear chibu. Almost here, I could see a funny. And what is there to show? But this one planting for food and jobs. So come the enough to phone be to go for real mama and our jobs. What are the jobs?
In the circumstances, Dr. Amachi Boateng, would you say Ghana, the country Ghana, is headed for the wrong direction or is headed for the right direction?
Yama I am a four and church as yet. The baby and Namu, Hoyama, my mother. I'm a four message as yet. This is a country in the West African sub-region. Omunina Aswa Omunyama Akotna IMF no World Bank almost say this is African sub-region. My mind in
IMF Ukraino. No maybe at the Namasia. Say ya no cresa, ya no crana Namasia say ya issue notices. Say a domestic debt. A buy no car what the local banks no. Others are buying you 50%. The Akana own Triabio. And now say a buy no bet 50%. Then the Akano ya reschedule over a longer period. And now say a buy no ebetria principle no. Na interest no won tua sa options imiensa omusimu gina yebako ni nyina ko wie say just a local Ghanaian banks may lose out money omode abo aban ne bosia e crowd out local investors na way bibi say be koso dia say yawu
di kan so see di kan no intime ma sa aban no onpia ma Rabbi the Jason in the Jennifer White now. A friend I am for and she said a political landmine. A friend I am for and she said a woman developing country. Political landmine. This is here the kind of ADAKABRI and Mac. Behind who are what Benoit, Obena could do. Like I saw deciding about the two Abontin or Ghana. My mother's story of Abontin. Emma, if anything at all, one more 82 I could jump about home. About the woman, never mouth. If I saw a man,
Hey, and for so fine.
and how will be the worst case scenario? But you know, the guy kind of empty. It will not happen. Why never pay? Why never pay?
Nani abaya chuma nso edi bimda.
Why the guy just be say bear man to
Enti ye can Dr. Amachi Boateng. That great expectation. Na omaima ewo ahead of 2016 December. Emma nana adodankwa ebaye. The first term into the second term. At the end of occasion, sir, Miss Ruya, your experience.
My colleague became on your political scientist or a historian. Was he gonna phone blame Dr. Bawumia?
Hey,
I saw on again, sending in our kind. Meanwhile, no one said that at Abamano. Now, quite said there, and some are all coming in our own in your team now, or the Baby. And so, Uncle Wilson, then you know Dr. Bawumia, and I decided to me a year. Wait, Ambassador Dr. Bawumia crowd is baby by or one fa. So, see, I had uncle that day. Some of the go out come one, then my GD cost room, then yen some more woman. I mean, some GD said, and some no crown, the Uba could pay Kurenova, and said the free and I do no more. In it be. And I did this answer me go home. No, sorry, big now, one team the kind. The Jesus and all one cat said that name in some one year. Probably near a political economy, a professor of this a Japanese elite policy institute, GRIPS, GRIPS. If you can know, poor country. The more penny per moment your mind anymore. Or say nipa one more kasa and so on in the kakra or mighty custom home. And some comfort two or more one more hand sweat me and who is them no so be kakra. One more kasa. Yes, here. Ura Jaku, what Jaku, the Yin Cotton Fee. Emma, the office of the president became terribly exposed. Because Kratano for the office of the president and Sana Elko Palace. India, El not away. So they got all of us to have a glimpse of what exactly could be happening at the office of the president. You see, among more a dead serious issue. I think going forward, Ghanaians are going to have to be proactive. Through a catch phone number 4. Some time ago, KNUST, I called UTAC a toothless bulldog. I still maintain that position and stance. UTAC should understand itself and play the role it should play in Ghana. That is not acceptable. UTAC will have to be proactive. Sit down, analyze issues bothering Ghana, and then put them out. Formally, you have to mobilize these resources to do this.
Yeah, about UTAC and semi-so association led by academia. But then back to the issue of say a university don. Can say Ghana and what announce MPP suffering this irreparable damage. You know, Yamfa Hon Sobuono Emma Dr. Mamadou Bawumia. Say Dr. Mamadou Bawumia. Yamfa say as a running mate, as a young man, as a technocrat. Na and Sembi Ewa. One only believability rate at that level, no. Na was so and Yamanamra Meka. Is it fear? Say a nay at the throes of say government no urban area in the next 2 years, you know. Dr. Bawumia and ye be blame no because or no and chese or person or twice or a flag bearer entry ana.
Dabi. In some of kind no need a home in Diom Kosi. No need as the Kassam who say I don't need him JB about political economy. Oh, yeah, I'm at your son that Mahama told you. Economics alone and translate, I mean, and determine policy. Politics coming. And we experience now we know. Send me what kind, say you can on catch near owning yet. Now, often come and free baby over. More big now inflation. Now, all done in India, all kinds of sincerely about the just, yeah, a 5 year month. Now, man, you follow to demonstrate. I'm to demonstrate. Demonstrate.
I just said, set a bit no more the year, Nana.
And then they get you a so bet me any commodity.
And now in the alternate, you must say, on hindsight, pain, reflection. Obaka di okika ya no ene ya na.
Eno si asoma ye betimi abusa. Ya asoma ye betimi abusa.
Enti ene Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia pandita kase ne noma oye nyina no calculated concrete plan be to extricate himself from the supposed mess and another led government edi Ghana akoduru mu no. Uno mba ya adwene.
Sana go for who but maybe say he will never be successful.
And to say ya ni nkika say ya better than yakoyanim. Why would you say that he will never be successful?
No, Obada got mapping one free and so I can now.
Say your friend economic management team meetings are your friend Edua, finance minister, Wababa Mumi and Sampe, and so naka one ma, ya yan shene kokosia, one fanya juma, Ghana man penusu to mean country in Chilano, it do baby crana hair, on ya do pebiani hunto yang. Wouldn't ni say? You bet me the concrete plan. Ama influential persons be at as says, Bawumia Yamana Konya, Yamanu say, or no bet me ayanadie. Name say a bass or nunkwa is at the helm, dear. Obet me is something different from what is happening now, Anna.
And I can be about that for fact, some common Brahmi a bit me. Ghana, and ya, the late Dr. Elon Demand. Not by no PNP now.
And then a People's National Party.
PNP, yeah. Some of the a crabby. No fact. A female. Now, we not be at the same war. I'm a new qua. No, this one. You can be bridges and 70 years. Not a bit free. I don't know. We want to know. Roots are Dr. Bawumia war MPP as a political party. The practical and historical. No, and Kutamu was this our party. One more grown in root. No, the party will allow him to have his own way, even when he is the political executive.
Dr. Bawumia is more like a branch in the MPP than a root.
I'm saying we want to see. At this time, we are asking questions. We are exploring. We don't know.
What are his roots?
That is the issue. That is the question.
Managing editor of the Daily Dispatch, a renowned pollster, Benjamin Emmanuel Efson, and he's so categorical. Bawumia will win MPP a Flagbearership election. Ben Epson, what do you make of that?
Well, then I answer or I say the friendly but about now almost in the night to be beso. This ambassador I share and never raise a pet sacrum and Okasa. I'm looking beyond that. I don't expect Bawumia to be the next president in this country.
It is not within your reasonable expectations that Dr. Bawumia will be the next flag bearer of the MPP.
Not necessarily, but the next president.
The next president.
The flag bearer of the MPP.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at who is going to sit at the Flagstaff House, after 2024. It will. In fact, I don't think it's going to be Dr. Bawumia.
Okay. In fact, I don't think it is going to be Dr. Bawumia. These are your words.
Our paper.
Tell us more about that.
Like I mean, come on, you na a conclusion of the to us. Come on, you the Bawumia de Kakra, the day before we one of the Aquacusi.
And Benepton is saying, say, the greatest mistake Alan Kojo Chematin had made was not entering Parliament. What do you know what I'm saying?
We can bend a union campaign. We live in a swar or the Eka in the but as to who he has said, who did more Parliament and son what to me, a winning on my penny about Tono, our money one. The Nisa. Because who said there are several circumstantial factors that determine one a deal our battle. But basically, I'm on yourself here. I go back to Kama of economics as the superstructure of society. I'm on yourself, of my ethical, of my ma as a travel, and maybe I can't. Maybe I can't. If free summary, you could see a better about. The new is Aladdin, Sembia, BP, or Ghana, be a bit my being Kuna, or my music as a master. The new is you don't have time, don't have the opportunity.
You.
And because of that, I don't expect anyone, irrespective of who comes out of the MPP, to say, you know, any actually Flagstaff House, and I am maybe
it is not within your expectations. We would see an MPP president in January 2025 sleeping at the Jubilee House.
Like I mean, nobody's breaking in the age. They're going home.
Hey.
The elephant is going back to the bush.
The elephant indeed is going back to the bush. You are speaking like God, though.
I'm not speaking like God. When you go on my interest, it me a share near my yes, yet me, you're going to and you're selling some ABCC. My man, so a and me give it. Your mama be brave, and you should do many more to see it. Because, and some more yaka, and in some more cost in there. So be your mind to take a semaquaco journal. I was just adding number. Was just adding the banner and some the Brivika car appear actually. Maybe did it or my mama be brave. Almost, into see it. Who is our papa? Who is our papa?
Doc.
Yeah, Monica said when you come home, your pretty distant programs.
Yes.
A type you can acquire young friend. In your quenya, you move a brave, my bathroom. You didn't come. You hardly hear voice a support to anything else society. Almost everybody is disappointed in the current arrangement.
And the disappointment would translate into electoral sack.
I was just our neighbor.
I was just our neighbor in your view.
I think a mommy can be a more to say a background and then she say, I just start a brand new dear. I'm a
yo, Doc, me and fancy, I say, na baby, I dread, I just say, me be pel, na. Me pay a plane ticket be na me pay a baby abedankra ha ne betna se na yemfa empirical evidence available any projections ahead na yenhwe say you betime diffuse some of the speculations in bia enema abontiana. But for now there you've made a day of Abanga Brahim Afuseni on Facebook Live and what can nsem nyina Dr. Amachi Boateng yede wase pa wie right. Mana dress one Nina Ellen Amadako. Pretty. We share the lips now, share the glasses now. Dede be brebe ni na ensiaga. Obeka sami atanka. Obapa. Have a very good day. Mama hapa abedofo.
Mama wa hana me matiefu nyina ha.
Yes.
Me hu na ache.
Me monitor be bia.
Ba me hu ache.
I no cre share ache.
Nti wo de me cancel.
Me de cancel wo birthday de na papa de ni nyina. Ai, na hwe. We de wo de say nya ka bia. Mama bi to abetie wa ase he ya.
There bi o. Ewie ya me de abetie nti abetie na mo.
De na ase he abna. We mo bi yire na wo ba abetie ahwe studio ha say de na 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 monka mo. Edim go ase be ni. Ye.
Tie oha echi ponkno. Needs FM.
What's cool, fresh and trendy with a no look? Makes you feel real good, that refreshing vibe. Satisfies you right just the way you like. Do you know? Ain't gotta do it alone. Specialized makes you glow. Anytime, anywhere. Specialized feel different. Always think special ice, natural mineral water. Feel different. Think special. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hey, catch it. Listen in here. And you ma beto to dia me baba no hwade no. Hwem so betumi a. Hey, now beka. Ya jon to ma me ensa duku portmanteau. This way chocolate drink. Na kan wo hwe afi bia so beri ni waware ne a. This way chocolate drink. Na kan sia. Asew. Wo den kan no tumu ho. Me be mo anu nso hye kura de aka ho. Wo hwade a wapi ho. O ka sa batete eda fom ho. This way chocolate drink.
Crash up pay baba wari.
Aso.
Ye fear say this way chocolate drink ya sorry no pay no ne nom. Ye be chef fridge nom no say snack. Ye nya hoho a no ne de serve wo mo. Ye didi wie ne ye pe bibia bogu ya de so a. This way chocolate drink ne nom. And this way no ti anu a, he se kire wom, koko wom, brick wom, bibia wom, ade wo hia ni so se.
This way chocolate drink.
De wo hia ani so se.
FDA ahwe say adwede nkrato mo agya to say eye.
Tie oha echi ponkno. Needs FM.
Ene ya wada ayini me bosome na ye wo mini de to so dumiensa afi empinu aduonu emienu just about 27 minutes past 2 and the studios this afternoon Elena Madako and Ora Adote Alote Amadako represent the views of the Deko represents the views of the New Patriotic Party and Adote Alote represents the views of the National Democratic Congress. Yawasani Tano, he's of the Political Analyst Group. And also
and they were free in the party.
No, we rather would want to see him as a political analyst. And then Mumi Enumu Kasasa na here voice of reason.
Political party.
No, he has moved away into the Political Analyst Group.
I'm surprised. The last time we met,
yes.
Sorry.
He now represents the Political Analyst Group. And he tried to blend them into the divisive view and a divisive view of MPP and DC. Ama, would you accept anything to the sort say MPP has suffered irreparable damage?
Damage, yes, but irreparable, dear no.
You will not accept that.
Machiade down to me when he has a messai achieve. But my main fa when you is na me machiba. Afisha pa Monday na udi 37.
Okay.
Or the Mrs. Begita.
Oh God.
Upon Mensa.
Aye.
Our yedma or kabi.
Okay.
See me mano afisha pa machiba pay.
You need answer to that. And yes, I would want no kind of aqua. Ye bibi.
Oh, na se me machiba de.
Ye bibi.
Ya afisha pa why?
Mami ya afisha party. Mami ya bidi jalo family. Eh, mami ya duma. Mesusu me miss wa onam papa dinachi. E friend mami ya aduma ti krumu di shep prekope. No to nya adoa e wo ba bia fa aso ase trotro do e wo Dr. Mensa. Mami Aduma, Ugo, Aswasi stage one, Dr. Melissa, no to the Adwa.
Yeah, there you be who know.
Right.
It's in America, say, aban bia udu point bi wo governance mu shocks ba.
Yes.
Yeah, the end, the minga say extended shocks if we COVID, pay hinti. And I say, ne, I'm say finra, and I'm say IMF for ne, World Bank forecast, yeah, ko ye ni mo no kwa. Yeah, dear. Ebe easy. In fact, when we outlook for 2023 no kwa no. Enye. Enti shocks the beba. Now catch say damage ya suffer bia. MPP for ya suffer damage pa. Because yeah but ne ye policy ya dey by ye won ye ba be ye. Ya ye bi ye gusu ye bi. Na so ye den out wi ase. Ye den ya nsem beba. Eti ya suffer damage die na no so nche say ye siesie nso a enye ye.
Achia de mu.
Siesie be ye. Wi asim ha. Point a ye ne hwe enye ye owu. Nipa wu a nasa.
Yes.
It's a pass of like I say irreparable. The irreparable, don't you say? Emfa. But me mean to Musa.
Yeah.
Mean to Musa.
And he just say, Achia Nimui.
Chia the Achia, we are singing Achia.
We are singing Achia.
We are singing Achia.
And it was thought to be expected, said Babanasa.
And I hear queer news to him, such a look around still a bet Yaka cracker.
I bet Yaka cracker.
But say,
hard ye. Emu.
Ebe Yamana aye.
Yamana.
Sa hope in it, said.
The capacity no ho.
Capacity no ho. See a bit me aye so see a bit me aye. Process no na ye nam. Akwan aye befa so aye ama na ye no mu ne ye nam yi. Eno so de oye den a ho kire beba. Oye den a ye nyina be mi aye ho kakra. See no de menye sure say say ye give up. Ye ma ye nsa so ye ntimi nye bi. Ye beti aye pa.
Right. Ya say na nua ba wo se irreparable damage she will not accept it. Damage obey accept it. Achia nemui. What are your thoughts, Dr. Machi Boating? Or say MPP has suffered irreparable damage to the brand. For which reason? Or free say, I'm Omaima, I didn't share Woma, or Mobe Pamu or China, and Kwan free abam.
Or China?
A China, the China. Yow,
over.
Only a Machi Boating agree.
But as a permanent agree. But, offender, I'm you. I'm in far queen, I'm in share. You make a fire, but I'm a fool.
Ya man, so kakramai.
And of ADAKABRI, Michel.
Ya Jusu.
Zama Michel, much ya minia adote.
Oh, friend and sister. I don't know how.
I am my friend.
Minia Bama, a sister, I don't know what you say. Oh, to a Barbara. I'm a friend and sister. Oh, I'm glad it's not my friend and sister.
Who's a my friend? Make I say Amma from my friend.
I do the friend Amma Yepe. And I say Minia Bayepe. A sister party.
Over. I think that aspect of irreparable damage, it's a yes and no situation, but in this current situation, it's a total yes. And I was biting my fingers at home regarding, remember, regarding, said now was here hitty on Dr. Bawumia. I told myself, say, if certain information has gotten out there to a certain group of people, I think, say, Dr. Bawumia would have been pardoned in a certain manner. You see, I have this thinking that the IMF at this material moment will be engaging in an act of uselessness if they dare bail Ghana out under Nana Danko Kufuor and Kenuforiata.
Okay.
It will be a form of disrespect to the people of this country to give money to this government and Ananado and Kenuforiata. And that be Kenuforiata meboshri. It is the reason why Dr. Makumba is saying that the NPP has been, hit with an irreparable damage.
Dr.
Amache can say the irreparable damage, it is a yes and no. Under this particular administration, a total yes. Kenuforiata is the most incompetent finance minister we have ever had.
What the minister there?
Maybe that. But I have assessed the various ministers that have come. Kwesiboche, Konfankon, your friend is saying. Banredu.
And I have
yes. You understand? And the excellency, our excellency, the president, Nana Danko Kufuor, also the most incompetent president we have ever had on the African continent.
Ah.
Yes.
Yeah, on no France one day.
Oh, these people when they knight English when they knight you, when they start giving you those things, they know what they are doing. It's a ploy, a way of employing you into their midst. They know that you are a conduit through which they benefit. They get their largesse. Until they do those things, just to ensure, say, we'll still keep on fooling the people, right? But of fact, we would advise IMF to stay away from this particular bailout, because if this administration needed a bailout and come on, financial cleanup, they could have managed it better. Now, offer Dr. Bawumia, if you get information, no matter cost of power, presidency regarding the proposals, not the way they throw him off, the things they do to him, say, "Wunima." And Ram say, offer me information, information. But I am glad, say, for whichever reason, when they offer say,
much what?
There be more to me. I clarify no maybe. I commend Dr. Gideon Bwakun Anura. Very level in terms of the conversation I'm having. Normal dows it down to a certain level. After the non-commodino taking a certain equilibrium one night, say you could see say Dr. Bawumia, the normal what proposing in anchor may do and baby you. But for some people, me, I'm not vying for him say be our mayor president. But if you ask me, if indeed Ghanaian wants him to become a president, why not? And I did a shame me. As I am a time, I will NPP mu. And that card of tribal if we had I mean, since when? The youth never NPP mu. If they don't do away with that canker, they themselves have always said Sammy Oku. If Sammy Oku had declared today, say he was also going to contest the presidency and come so when you see, the NPP must be rebranded from that old stone age of yen the buy if it is not us, it is nobody. We have intelligent youth in this party. Dr. Bawumia came and added a volume of intelligence. And this digitalization and all the effort he's making, in the near future, we'll praise him. Why do you want to say that Dr. Bawumia has no chance in becoming the flag bearer of MPP? Why? MPP and you be a we were there before. I used to live at Jolo. Mami Frema, before so Beba MP. And today she will not recognize me, of course, because we were doing the ground underground work. No. We worked on a strong legacy for the New Patriotic Party. What is the state of the New Patriotic Party today? When they come in, they use that opportunity to destroy, to promise and fail, to scam people. And we are in the scamming scheme. Of course, and the scamming scheme is the Nado's family and Ken Oforiatta. And these people must be rooted out of the party. The say, Dr. Bawumia may be used by this group of people. But I'm confident say Kobani say ne sampa. Ebi ya onya Flagbearership ne wi a. Obeka chiro mo say to hell with you, cannot control me. That is the confidence probably I'll have. But sitting afar and the information some of us get, the man should not be vilified because be a koso I more thing. Now offer. Many of my adwempa say achia na emuye. Na chia na achia emuye no.
We need this papa. So into what do you see can a party and poor party be do baby a kasa so be my fanko.
Yo. Now you say party no. So when a power it is for the nation. It doesn't become a property of anybody. And on kasa. This say party no. The party has been destroyed by Nana Danko Akufo-Addo and Ken Oforiatta and his people. They came with the idea of that vindictive tendency to destroy. Under you. It's a car under Nana Danko Akufo-Addo. Ken Oforiatta has messed up everything. Pampa papa knows me pam because we don't have credible people in NPP. And you see, I'm not surprised. And I'm paying for one pam nanado. If no matter how, oh, offer, maybe I'll say garnishing or now you know. But he was booted out.
Or you're reshuffle.
Oh yeah. We are reshuffle now. You're competent, and they will still put you there. The year reshuffle now say if you don't have that primitive mentality of selfishness and self-aggrandizement, now you will be left to remain. Look, there's one single woman. Mami here ye kokwe vet na ye mpesa nko ye be vet no kurapo yi. Na Ghana for you if say ono de my in fact crofo be by out the cancer brofo de and so the ministry under her watch no. Why you say cool fisheries my friend nko.
Afole.
You understand? Yanti bia obi asabe in educational level me ceramical minim de Andrew can oforiate Andrew nanado danko kufuado. But look at the terrain. Bibia ye din unlike those days it is a fisheries no premise ayira for her way for her under her watch no bibia e the din. I would not say she's completely out of the woods say bibia ankoso, but I think said she has managed the place well to the admiration of all of us. Into offer achia nemu ye no, we need credible individuals to take hold of the party, and they must do it now. They must force the president to sack Ken Oforiatta. Oh, now any other cabinet, what is their use? What is the use of the cabinet? Are you fighting for Ghana or you are fighting for your individual selves?
Yet to about my nipa bakope into the back indeed stops with him.
Exactly, but we, to my phone, nipa ne to Obama, we employed him. We have a say in the administration of the I am forcing the people within government to see. Offer, of course. I agree.
1 by 2 years.
At least it is important they force the president to sack his cousin. Party na say and another danko kufuado. He did not. No? Yes, the brand. He did not come for the repairs of the party. In fact, the party didn't need any repairs.
When I must say, unforeseen contingency. No money say that hardship we say beba.
You see,
we are seeing a chia and you Ghana pe.
Over those unforeseen conditions, no, it's limited to a certain point. In normal, one blaming Ukraine, Russia. Yes, I say world. Your friend say crude oil, normal gas, Marcos. Your gas, nibi. A back crude no so here will be. We here no fit and on paying for a barrel of crude equal 147. Yes, survive here. You understand? So it is just sheer incompetence and selfishness. And I'm could do baby I could do. You understand? Until I am saying that a competent group of people should come and rescue the party. When it comes to the repairs of the party, this administration and Anado Danko cannot, and they are not ready to repair the party. Indeed, when Oman Payne left the MPP, even in opposition for 8 years now, the party's image was still intact. And I feel sad. Say His Excellency, the former President John Adjei, I haven't heard a word from him regarding the destruction of the party and another. Hey, offer time my mails by no. Until they now Rollins over here. Rollins wanted to be sure, say, or more values no remained the same. Until once a while he will poke his nose into the affairs of Mills administration.
Now one share Mills is a reaction towards Rollins.
Mills, yes. You see, but one can't hear crowd and just say nyakura. One can't hear
for them.
And then be papa we 24. Katwa bontina ya metra hani and discuss it. I don't know if most important. Now one kasadi e beka se you penyo trefe man kolayo na kaye bu na kaye fo beka ubi. You understand? This Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo has disgraced MPP and Ghana. Inti sa long we omukoji IMF you do us good. If you refuse them, who shall be omodi economy na could do under Ken Oforiatta? What are you going to give it to them again to be able to resuscitate the economy? They are going to put these monies into contract and use paved ways to siphon the monies back into their pockets.
Hey.
Offer. Inflation of contracts.
Yes, in so be yira ma obi bedroom as kan kwa ne go no be yira fa sika no. It just am got it ne da na chi.
Offer won ti ha na 750 million na fi Africa exam. Omo year list be 2 year nim projects omo be year. In fact omo list year no $1 kura ampa ho. As to scan bedroom offer, where is the money? In fact, a bedroom.
You expect on the 17th of this month, President of the Republic should be in Kumasi. A major road project by Compano or Becca Huasam Juada.
Kumasi for Pono, Medio Mohoya, Ashanti group. Omuna Medio Mohoya. You see, they have pampered this group of people to get us where we are today. Kumasi, Ashanti for. They have pampered Nanado Danko Kufuado, but I'm sure now they have regretted. Right? Into offer.
Ama, what is Yana Yao Ekika Dwakika Winina? Do you accept it?
That's how I'm a chance. Become a no so candidate. When I'm
so what's this Antifuana?
Yes!
Not doing okay.
You are just watching him. You're about to a man. You're not to a man and I have for crack or jab to say, I need demonstration to say, must it happen that way? As Santa Ford, you're more young men people consistently. Is that their payback? The development, so of course, everybody should have a share of the cake. But if you want to juxtapose development and another Danko Kufuado to that of Ashanti in terms of spreading it, the third question
upstream
you see the menace where they have determined to take over the gold value chain, oil and gas, any financial sector. The negative effect of the gold value chain no taking over. Gold catchers machines. The effect is why Biram walked to the court to seek redress. First time in the history of this country.
Spiritually,
it has a very important connotation. I'm telling you, Ofa.
Hey,
let us not make it. Spiritually, it has a very serious connotation.
Because the way upstream,
yes, exactly the case. Exactly the case. And you see, we must be mindful and careful about Nanado and the way he's managing this country. And I tell you, with all certainty, he can't manage the country. I mean, with the few.
At least we're managing Obeko. Adote, Woodnia Sanitano, he's a political analyst, and these are his views.
Yes.
Earlier on, Amadeko, and so of the MPP. Quite honest. Okay, dear, Ondufi. See a chia ni mui. Obi expect say what Obeka say ebu anisa. Yenti do Obeka.
Ebu say in fact you I come man we.
Over my fa konya winchia. Minchi obi.
Yen hwe so ye nationalist and answer we NDC.
Me I'm always nationalist. Obi out here him say I speak for the nation. Of course, I'm a member of the NDC. Of Amicia NDC paying for you, and Amicia and Yasu to Fonsu. Amicia me NDC paying for one Yasu to. Let me wish them all the best to in the coming election, the constituency election, and the regional elections. Ofa, I say, I told you there are some of the things you can't deny, you can't lie. They say book no lie. Facts on the table. Just say, Omania, Achia. And the damage on the MPP is irreparable. I'm telling you. Because a bean cedar. Near, they say, a bean cedar. Their performance is monumentally bad. I'm telling you, Wafa.
After a year, J.J. Rollins, man, and document, NDC
I can't determine when political parties will win election. But when they say NDC, we need this election. But NDC cannot be in power forever. But the American say their performance as a government, that output, a BC, very bad in our history. And they have facts and figures to show. And let's say, and they be because say, if you want to compare the parties now, there are things on the table you can look at. Say, Sika, Ababia, Enya, resources, and then Juma. Sector by sector, this government is a monumental failure. They be see that. That's my point. And the damage is irreparable because it's going to be in our record. Say, over to you. In our record, say, for the first time in our history, Yesika is the most useless in the world apart from Sri Lanka. Show me which record. In Africa, is the most useless. Somalia, Sika, Niger, Chad. Burkina Faso.
That's the meaning.
Are we a sovereign state?
And I may just say yesika dino. Now holding in trading on international market is the most useless. I be see that. And then Somalia cry Sudan. You know Sudan say omokwa so many years. Omosika cry yes, omosika cry ewa holding chen Ghana sika. Over. Na Benin Togo ni na. Like say yeah, council they will never speak the truth. Say we are in a hospital. If you don't tell the doctor near how, and as a doctor will diagnose and lie to you, that's the point. And they will hide behind external shock. Over how many times I actual budget in this country over documents now, they don't talk about global outlook. Every government, be a serious, competent, or only the policies are, they look at what? External issues. External shock, and will be behind. The world, no. The same thing is affecting what? Somalia, Chad, Central African Republic, Niger, Burkina Faso. They are facing the same thing. So external shock is everywhere. Don't blame external shock. You can't say global issues. Every document be alpha concern the finance and economics of the country. No, you list the global issues. In fact, show this year say no. No. We look at how much the international world will price it, and a particular ceiling, maybe 1 hour. Time I budget, it was $65, but you will say it will go up. So a serious government, would you or man you don't come and talk about external shocks and global issues. Okay, say about complain about changes and as a decrease in the price of major items. They say gold, million, or say now those external shocks, no time my ebano. Omu jampi other countries eba only Ghana. The same way, COVID-19 Russia, Ukraine, no, those issues, no, I don't know affecting Somalia, Chad, Niger, Burkina Faso, Togo, Benin, and so on. How come say aside Sri Lanka? So offer it's a big damage.
Is it the same as useless?
Offer me about idea be any useful. How do you put it in the English language?
Say a couch, no, say a West performing. Does it necessarily mean
of course it's not useful, useless. That's the point.
Useless.
Bloomberg.
I'll say
the
performance as some no
Bloomberg analysis, they look at trading on the international market.
So that is the performance.
And I feel so the currency denominator
performance. It is not about the usefulness.
The currency denominator is the dollar. And then who told $1? No, is Ghana 11 cities. Who pays 110,000. Who they call all cities anymore?
So it is not.
That is the meaning.
It is not performing.
It is
well.
the most useless.
That.
Nationalists.
No, that is
useless. No, that is the truth.
And you're useless.
Now say one year HIV AIDS. Yenka say HIV AIDS. Say the beya. Oh no, me case one year.
And I can say the.
No, my friends do. Me say uko hospital wafa. Now say test. Now say yare how no HIV. Yenka. Na yen pe no draw na infant sound. Say the beya you can survive.
Description here. Worst performance.
Offer. It is useless. So in America say
Say
me Ghana.
I have no.
It is the purchasing power in Ghana. I have no use. I have no right there. Any alternative. Say me petrol no. Maybe you Ghana cities. That's the point.
It in the performance only come into play against other major international currencies.
But idea yet only $1. It will be currency more. $1 purchasing power parity. Now say we be 11 cities. 110,000. They don't no. It's not useless. Offer. I don't. We shouldn't argue about this. Now only say you see. Offer we say what that means. How until onyanka may see worse performing. But
because that is what.
But if you check the dictionary, the word incompetent is same as useless. But only you see Eddie Ma, a whole president of the country. In Ghana for any journalist, yes, you can check it. Inept, meaning of inept and useless. those words were and then look at the performance offer. So it's in our record say near money records no you will be that offer. And then offer near many when you to somewhere January 100 cedis no and then we turn the same thing 137.2 Ghana cedis. That's the meaning of inflation. Near turn 100 cedis some few months ago no and then turn 137.2 Ghana cedis offer. And I say 100 cedis bottom offer. Now hold no and I say obi wia 37.2 Ghana cedis e dey free sache kan so. That is where we are now. So I didn't see that. We have never explained it before. You see, the damage there, the damage to the brand they offer is so deep, a deep cut, okay. and it's a complete irreparable. I'm telling you, because they didn't see that, and the facts are there. So we can take sector by sector. There are 2 years. You know.
Former Energy Minister Boache Jakon would want me to read this out to you. Also, the guest must understand that so long as the CD remains legal tender, it cannot be described as useless. So be said. Ama.
Of who relief from a stout MPP member. What do you want me to say, him to say?
No, but he's a banker. He's a banker.
Former energy minister.
No, he's a banker. You are a banker. Yes.
Nah, don't so free. Kobo.
As I'm growing, this year I friend Nene Akpo.
Men so no, me ex and so no.
Sir. Reba Juako.
Mejai.
Agu. Go you talk. Adabrijo. Do a quick rebuttal. Be
of course. Let say yeah, the rebuttal. There maybe. I'm say you me be ya na mase dada ayama mi.
That's right.
Inti eno ano no. Currency a wugu sudi. What the to ade. Won't mean ka say useless. Currency ni face problems. You know, you do but useless.
They are saying performance. And then you rather want to liken it to
NDC for incompetent. But I can't say ex-president Mahama. I'm saying sure pa because I say, Obi a kasa no akokasa MPP for your kasa or incompetent. But I say some no you're incompetent. And now as we speak now, me who's a competence be abem. Ntiane de sa title ne de omupeu eya de a na eni suban na eni state sa mre no na sa no ba minim so court na enfie nsian a se ne ni abre enokra na so onim so be ba enra mete say so onye on decide ye
he still did
he's still thinking about it and am ne ekwe de me hwe ono anso no mo de bebe na se oba chire mu say bi ana competence no akosua bi aka ho. But kopim so betimi achire yen de empacho he's still incompetent.
Now, you say inflation hits over 37%. Inching closer to Professor Henke 42% no. Na shops
na problem isn't it so say 70. Ogusu na 42. The last time I checked no so na
70. And I retract certain words.
Officially,
Professor Nim said 37%. Na higher fuel, higher food prices. And now shops are also grappling with a GRA, so directives. Massive 4 to 2 more. As said, regional minister AC Anono, then can also the whole gym. That's the way forward. Inti adote na yanko the new topic
say you start from ofa on say yanka yanuaba nti menuaba kasa no see title of incompetence no la ewo ora mama so na ebium o share dictionary incompetence no it has to do with your performance na share ejuma ora mama boy amunje mukota no o kasa title no ekra no
o na odwen sa
tell me ofa you see no me and I may say, I speak with facts and figures. document ewo HSA ora Mahama 4 years obedi yes no sika onya from tax offer oil grants ni nyina 240 billion sector by sector ejuma ebo oil revenue loans ukaboma you got in more than 2 times of Mahama sector by sector. You have nothing to show, and you go ahead and say oh no, you're incompetent. Then I don't know, ABR, you have your own MPP dictionary of the word incompetent. Seriously, because if it's about the performance of the leader, records are showing. Take education and show me what you have done in education. Maybe I can say syllabus was scramble up to now, no textbooks, and now I can Minister of Education deputy or see they decided sharing the textbooks, and I'm for free say masa, I will hear. So let's not go there. We can take the GRA document, Minister of Finance document. Nation sika eba mama nchen. Nation sector by sector. Nation you are the luckiest government in this country. Sika monya no he didn't even get quota. Same applies to Rollins and Mahama and Mills. But you have nothing to show. They be a maker offer. Say if they can point to me after 6 years. Any clinic or hospital, I'm going to see maybe a 10-bed hospital. I'm going to see from start to finish in anywhere in this country. Like I'll raise my hand for them. There's nothing. So you come. Maybe you both have the dictionary, but in terms of naming, is far, and the records are there to show. Maybe I told the challenge say, "Yen pay that name to airtime, name for sector by sector, name for document." Se kai ba abansem na nhwe adwuma ya ono abo ene hwe wofa ye kan about inflation na cause no. It is the problem of the exchange rate. If it be pass through effect exchange rate and cause no and they be can say MPC report na mo dey ba no central bank increasing policy rate no, it cannot fight the inflation. The problem is the central government fiscal policy. And they can't come up with anything. You're starting from 14, 18, 20, and then 37.2%. I will be able. And I may ahead of time say inflation 37.2%. What they mean is some few months ago 100 cities in offer, and then you turn 137.2 Ghana cedis. And chunk of it is the exchange rate issue. And Jessica Semensu said in her own about form, not because of anything, it is complete mismanagement of the economy. And it starts from the debt level. Debt, no. No. Loans are no. And you see, the reason why the rating companies is all because say your default risk loans is very high. And that is the point. The BIG loan. Look, first 3 years of MPP government under Akufo-Addo and Bawumia government, president and vice, the reason why CDNO was fairly stable is because now you share IMF. That's the reason why they even increased the tenor by additional year. And I feel so the city was fairly stable because to meet Echo Eurobond edgy $11.5 billion. On said now say to me go on. I am a program no. And no. The problem is the exchange rate. Because Prof Enim Alcano. Or see look, imported goods contribute more. Now who import here? You need more cities to buy fewer dollars. That is the problem. So media people say editor, I'll pass the cost to the final consumer. When it comes to production, the same thing. In fact, in January, Obi Biara Oye Juma Okra Niyama worth $100,000 in January. No? That time, Nani Panu ya 600,000 Ghana cedis. And then, the Nipanu aircraft the same worth of goods $100,000. Nipanu ya 1.1 million Ghana cedis. That's a meaning. In the Sani Panu ni capital no ashi. He will get half of the same goods. Ashi. And it has to do with the exchange rate. And then also it had to do what the debt are air cost no. You can't most America. Oh, multi loans so on the thing they are smart. Or be the domestic bond no. Monsieur, we have foreigners are almost to your local bonds. They were happy because the foreigners normally dollars neighbor are more to the bonds in cities, so they will change it and get the cities to buy the bonds. Until now, your reserves into air cost. And now, I say no, all those non-resident investors in you musica air con. Now, on the musica air core, he will take it back in what? In dollars. That is the problem. And they don't want to say it. Until now, I am a first issue. You say you have to do DSA, analyze your debt, and tell us whether it is what sustainable. From there, no, I'm will say the problem is the domestic bond, and then also the cost. No, cost because inflation. Once inflation, cost, you have no choice than to increase the interest rate on those bonds. Oh, and see, about what debt restructuring. Young people say, hey, Debbie, Andrew, and this is we are just rushing. We are preaching doom. But that is the meat of the issue.
Chajako want us to believe that imported inflation is not necessarily the sole function of exchange rate. So that may not be...
No, but it's a function of what? You see, let's not go into the function of what? When they say imported inflation, it has to do with the goods and services we import into the country.
And it's only submitting, say, it may not necessarily be the sole reason why our exchange rate was challenged.
No, can't say no. You see, then maybe he's not listening to me. We have a problem with the exchange rate stemming from the data. That's where the problem is coming from. And America say, so your holding a buffer. So you need more cities to import the goods. What I say, because more cities will give you fewer dollars to import the same amount of goods. Now, in my example, say, so Obi imported goods January $100,000 worth, no. Can you pano exchange into that dollars, no, with 600,000 Ghana cedis. And I said last month, no, the Nipano imported the same worth of goods now. He will need 1.1, and I said, let's say 1 million Ghana cedis. So that person must add additional 500,000 to the 600,000.
Now, Obet transfer extra in the ultimate consumer nana.
Of course, because the same worth of goods, $100,000, no. Cities are made it to affairs, no, 600,000, and then 1 million.
Yes, so you toy there. Now you're cyclical.
Excellent.
Because for the baby,
yes,
you are copying near the bit.
Yes, that is what I'm talking about. You can't say important when no exchange rate issues stem its root from the data.
So now we know this is the problem. John Mahama, Yebusano, see between your resolve on say, what you are convincing.
Very convincing. But the point is say, in Crawford and no Moody and Nimno, have they agreed say this is the root cause of the problem? No. Omodi they grow. I'm trying to still are they are still telling lies. And they are dancing around it. And America say, Obama say we diagnose you for a disease. You can say when how accept it. They pay and no draw. But they are still dancing around it. Say no, and yeah, no, and way. The problem is this. What you say?
Okay, my yamre be because Jaco still maintains say economics is good and Gabi say even if say you need that overhang crana when there's rising inflation it may still originate from importation of a no. You see, I like some of them are students. And the can ye Niamika say the thing start from what imported. Let me see. When you are importing the goods and services, what do you use? Foreign currency, either dollar, euro, pound. And I'll use it. That's the main thing. And also, so you need more dollars to buy. And America say, young Crawford like Guta, when they have to use more cities, they will pass through. They will pass the additional cost to the final consumers. You talked about the
debt.
As if it is a function of problem. And no super so say you may
take
away
is the reason why we're having problem with the exchange rate. Because the domestic bond, they are taking, so there's pressure on this. the demand side for the foreign currency.
Alternative voices.
Alternative voices. Like, uncanny because students are listening. Yes, we can come here and say
alternative voice. Alternative voice. Adote Alote of the NDC. In fact, he is also a banker, or he's worked within the banking chain. Into also Wakanda. Yeah. Yes, inflation in over 37%. And shops also and all money a year a GRA a once and semi. Abnado for a kind was his camper rough. It taxes
and also movie.
And also will be a craft for some who air gym. Now, offer a year shocks and a shop in penny for us and say, or Momran Klein, Muntimin Quasante. But at least the Asante Regional Minister, Simon Osemensa, has done his best. And here's what comes out of it. But what do we learn from Sir challenges?
Homework. He's one person I've never met before. A brother, and can say, and all the measure MPP. He was my very, very, very good friend. My name is NDC. Into the na the office are near. Offer media, baby, I'm a year Jumao savings and loans. I make us more or less a bank. I will not claim to be an expert in economics or banking, but I'll take my angle from the layman's point of view why we are here or why we are where we are. First of all, we are where we are because of Kendo Furiata, implicita. Secondly, offer. Time MPP bar they had a plan. And the plan was to crash the economic pillars and the buffers that had been created to support the the pillars and the buffers now. I don't know the previous administration, as described or was as purported by the then opposition MPP and now even incumbent MPP, said they were incompetent. Were able to create the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, the Heritage Fund, Thinking Fund, there's another, even Get Fund, NASLA. These buffers or these pillars were there to support the economy. And all these buffers or pillars had funds enough, at least, there's 9 banks that were cleared off. They were also helping the economy. Of course, they had their own challenges. They were bailed out at a certain point, but the then administration probably failed to put in place a management, a monitoring and evaluation structure. I've been making sure says kana ya dia mamono taxpayers nisika enti monhwe na monjusu no yiye ankobanesa time America eco crisis mu credit crunch no what the then administration under Obama say obe bailey out at the time. If you could recall, Ford ni GMC, almost all the American manufacturing car companies now they were crawling. Obama decided to build them out with about 1.3 trillion or so. I stand to be corrected on the figure. Pushed it into the system. And now, Famino Kasei, if you buy a GMC Yukon Denali, if you buy Lincoln Navigator, any of the American products, in terms of vehicle manufacturing companies, you would see, sir, there has been a vast change. At that time, credit crunch now, Toyota was leading all over. In fact, I think Toyota is still leading, but in terms of the percentage of purchase, now America had nowhere to run to until Obama resuscitated them. Indeed, I was expecting, say, under new administration, I am Bailey Bank be more out. Now, out of those 9 banks, we all know, as of today, say, 7 out of the 9 were very, 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 positive in terms of their balance sheet. 2, you could say, well, but you had no business in collapsing those indigenous banks. One found so savings and loans ahorow a memu nyina almost all were collapsed. I was working at the accounts department of First African Savings and Loans. I was I saw the volumes of monies that were coming in, volumes of monies that were going out. And they were doing businesses like growing carrot here and there. Here they do to support the system. Those period. Now you walk Mrantia, I be ofa kwano. Mrantia mienu miensa, no more the omo gas cylinder kosi kwano, omo ye check. And net check won't omo can be. They've all collapsed because baby no money almost can kitting fino. Nina a collapse. Omo ye more market mu ahoro. They were borrowing from these savings and loans and the banks in Kitikitia. Papa ebe collapse one. GN banks was all over in the country. You deliberately collapse these banks who were helping in the north. They were borrowing from GN Bank to cultivate yam. All of them are out of the system. They were the buffers, the cushion of the economy, but they never even thought of them. They crushed them completely. That was the genesis of our woes today. This is the first government.
6 minutes of your time.
Okay.
Now, former energy minister, former member of the economic management team of the Nanado-led government, banker Nene Akpo Boachi Ejako. Honorable Yamuaha.
Oh no, they are me we san kasa mo.
Na adote alote aja waye adwuma bank dante ye credit no say oye banker na oka inflation over 37% na wama domestic or total debt no a function of challenges idea about my inflation do say that's you disagree with him and the economics kakre
no Mr. I am painfully aware that students the room. But the Mr. Wokata radio store. Yeah, educated, sending a bayer will be better at the DFP. You see, to make the simple supposition, say your inflation or exchange rate and creating inflation is wrong. And now on debt and creating inflation directly is wrong. For example, even if we have zero debt, not a major trading partner, one more huge problem with inflation, you will import their inflation. Because or no inflation I want to prove no. Niema auto it will be the inflated price. And no, and yet it's a function of exchange. It is called terms of trade. Your terms of trade has moved against you.
It yet you see ye dia na terms of trade no or no higher inflation or baby or ya normal no near import by a hasia we could not
inflation.
Let's just say import inflation besides a normal ground so ya cotton.
The thing is that or no higher inflation. No important name, assuming you have zero national debt overhead.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you do, you have imported the inflation from your trading partner.
It's inflation going up, no? It may be, say, imports also and contribute to trade.
Yes. What the point I want to make is that he is making a direct relationship between exchange rate and inflation.
Okay.
It is not so. However, when inflation works its way through the system, there's in econometrics, inflation lag variable. When inflation works through its system, it can express itself in exchange rate later on. So there is not a direct causal relationship. That is what I want him to be aware of.
Okay. And you know what you are aware of. And one say, Jibre, never trans, never check economics. This year, no, you share the I want you to do so. It's no. Why? Mati, you Yeah, do as a pa. Right. And you stand educated.
No,
and I
not
also
me.
stand educated.
Not me. I'm not bad.
Ama. When we was one so more.
Not me, I'm not bad.
I'm so much on the
Because the best way.
What can we do? But who no and produce nyama sɛnea wosi hia enti ɛyɛ dan a wo be import obi di aba ɛnyɛ saa na ɔkyerɛ enti wo ko import ba
na sɛ nipa koro no
na kyɛ sɛ nipa koro no sɛ inflation wɔ soro a na wo so wagye aba ɛnyɛ saa na ɔkyerɛ wagye bi aba enti yɛyɛ deɛ no me deɛ me fa ne sɛ ɔka sɛ ɛnyɛ sika ne nko a ɛna ɛde inflation aba na ɔka sɛ sika no nso ɛfa through the system a ɛno nso so de biba but ɛbɛka saa ne san kofa free abonten ba saa na me de me ti ase sanye saa na oti ase dia e de na ono ni understand ne me de me nye economic student e ti nya de emfa me ho me de ne se de bi waka se wie bra ba me kasa me de ne se de bi e ma 30 seconds de you on ka se wie 30 seconds na me kan to do ku su ka sa
me ba
Bawumia ma ne 30 seconds bia me de ne so yin tu
Bawumia tape na oh yeah, lectures for Central University no. The boss are portion no. Okay, baby. O see, the debt costs too much beyond the level IMF Ediaman developing the nations now. There are three main effects: inflation, exchange rate, and interest rate.
Okay, you better about
these are the, you can agree with him.
You better about me tape. Say tape we must see at one just about me about number. Okay, yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, economics na say at least your family at you go. But one my point be o say about me
listen,
say with debt no and rise beyond certain levels as the associated freight things be better. All right.
Into what me as a lay person I make say why we are here no. Let me say, aban weni abanya the bad say bond market no more alcohol partner umonye sika pudua. It is under another danko for right. But who borrow sikano na uko bobo siano. Now why invest in productive sector no? Definitely no at a point in time sa inflation here I cost money ebeba.
It is a consumption.
Yes.
Abobosia be do
abechuadum yen produce right. So obekaya NDC under Mills Mahama, ECOJ, I think $1.5 billion. Exactly the case. Omo target, it was a targeted loan for a project at Tuabo Gas. That project,
$3 billion. $1 billion for
yes, that project is paying for itself. The government there under Mills Mahama administration, Mr. Atta, borrowed money internally and externally. They put them mostly in the productive sector. We can talk of UGMC. We can talk of some of the regional hospitals. And even talk of Ameri. Any other, your friend is Commander Sugar Factory, or Mushas, yes, Sanka, 6 years ago, and can buy now, no, it is paying for itself. Now, here is an administrator. He never invested in one, just single one, state infrastructure. They should tell me just one. Because Atuabo Gas has never had its replica under this administration. Even in any other sector, say, and yes, a gas plant in Kropa, any other thing. Or more tattoo, almost refinery, up to date. It has been on their mouths and the drawing board, nothing. It is put you borrow here more investing in productive sector. And no high end because we have to import. Even those things that we have comparative and competitive advantage, as I say, if you omemuba offer. And only problem. Apart from that, they use populist approach in the employment sector by getting 100,000 people to be employed a day. NAPCO. And what is the meaning of NAPCO? Nation Builders Corp. Offer. What part of the nation, I said, which part of the nation did NAPCO ever build here? They rather came to feed on the nation. And we told you also that your ministers are too many. 125 plus 2 deputies and even triple deputies. And we told them They never listen to us.
Ministers here 1, 2, 5 and Sana deputies nearby.
Yes.
Oh, David.
Oh, how many were the
ministers together?
Okay, how many were the ministers?
Together.
Okay,
together.
Plus the deputy, 125. Okay, and we told you that they all must be paid plus cars and also be draining economy. No, 1 year and then Eddie Abedu says here. Exim Bank can now be a creative war. Who could use kind of woman with your intention and your friends and campaign mantra said you were going to invest in the private sector for us to have 1 district, 1 factory. At the 1960s, moon rank no UP tradition etuguye and then you started fair enough. But don't forget, the previous administration and other government like Kufuor also, His Excellency the former President Kufuor, also supported indigenous companies. Under Mahama, we saw monies being given to indigenous companies like Tobinco, Akuko Dako. Many of them, they did not use it to tout themselves as say 124 so-called operational 1 district 1 factory. What is their impact on the nation? Even though I agree, say we'll be a factory, it will take some time for us to be able to drive to the equilibrium in terms of profit making. But I am saying, say, have you done your monitoring and have you put in place your monitoring and evaluation to ensure, say, those companies that you gave money to ensure so make produce, how far are they faring? As we speak, Ekumfi, they are having challenges. Kasa di ropa, amukurapo di enemonyo, asantum na onkomode beye esanu no. Where is it? The previous administration revamped Commander Sugar Factory, and they did a test run, and they said, okay, we are going to shut it down for 2 months or so to ensure, say, they said, of our last, we now were explaining, I was listening to you at home. Say, what talk monoa? You don't just go about stepping on the accelerator anyhow. Mm-hmm. You run it at a slow pace for it to take off. But when the previous administration...
They put it running in.
When the previous administration did that, no, almost and unfortunately, they went out of power. And you just to hold for 5 good years. After a year, a revamp. The same test run, and the machines must be made to do a run in. But they use this as propaganda. Yeah, Bisase. Well, what have you done at the productive sector? Right. I don't know how drive inflation to this point because everything is being imported.
Ama bebem. Ama. What ye the unia adute of the NDC wakaye. What ye yasane as a political analyst. Do onuswaka. Ama inflation do over 37%. Shops also and challenges with GRA. And Cranford also at the home we expect the President of the Republic on Monday the 17th say obey a major announcement about Swami interchange. Na yehundi yehun. Edi na beka kire ama.
Oh, mini anu mema mi na de so mo de mo declare stance down enti ne omo bepeke bi obeka. What they want to say is what they will say because mentia CSL betini aka say obi buy and waba begu banks so now refi says our banks na yegu om ye ma musika ya sika o enye obi bottom sika taxpayers money and this here bind the maum isa sika na now say MPP buy and so nka ye nto aso maum no ye de maum no de no mo de ye ana ye nti ha na ebinum gina court say sika na ye de maum say omo fa emwaboa omo banks no afi ekodu baby na ye de bia businesses ekodu baby na ya divert nkofo gusu gina court enti an ne de wuti ka ne ye wo asum de and so the reality no ye ti kroma nkofo koso mu koji omusika na omu nsanka ananya gana ha na sa 70 ye ukọ miami sika de ato bank ukoyi a nsanka
nsanka offer nwadi obaba akokwa de sabo.
Thank you ama eventually onya adan ni wewu enti ne ya wu na opese ohunu se na opese ohunu na obehu na se yakukuru sika ti se ya ma osefa kokoye adwuma make sure say o bank ngu na ya ka no ye sika ye de beto ho enya na yi free mu wan fa anya ne ode ye ye kokra ka je say God is good ye nkoye nim
God is good 3 times.
3 times aye eno so ye ti krom ha o ye yin sika ne ye say God is good ye nto aso na wo ka
inflation baby adro ni
shop owners
challenges are
me problem pa me pese me busa Mibusa friend is saying mibusa omo ne say omo problem with GRA ne saying. What for mibusa asempacho. Omo problem with GRA anything. I didn't know omo to omo shop ni.
GRA say inipa met na honom. Na omo monitor omo receipts are omo issue out. Na yentimi nya accurate reflection of omo transactions. Now what is due government under VAT no? Na government in Sanka.
Nti VAT ni yemfa bi nka ho.
Debi.
VAT dada na sese omoje.
At omo ntro VAT receipts no.
Nti no kwani nyame npesa mo kiregi mo na mo ne omo akasa. Nti omo problem ne sen.
Omo problem
na ma yemfa nipa ne ma ho mecheke.
Emfa nipa ne metena ho. Na emumu no ma mea no memfa bre.
Na mo a wo fa bre na wo de ba no wo de ba. Me unse ade na start here no na me dwin se ebia na tax bi ina ye de aba ye nyina in fact me ni GRA for kra nya problem in fact me ni still me ni more problem
e twofold
me problem ni GRA for no won say mu kra mu so mu nim se mu pese mu inspection mu ma mu hye mu kena mu pese mu kwaji sika na nka ma ye mu kan say one page announcement sa na ye kan no no mama ye nyina ya awe se abusuafo yi se ye vat na ye gye no enkrofo onfa ma enkrofo onye enti se ni epese ye nie ni ye hu ya ne se kokoto ade wo store a upia na enkrofo bi hye GRA atai om se madam aye hwe receipt mimi hu no wonkran ha na afi om start extend me de me ka se ni mi hu ye no enti I felt so mo hye mu kina nka so mo ye hu dede ba mo anye hu dede kra po a what is the problem tax ni ye fa bi meka ho tax dada na enye wo dia
na betra me ko so sa na me man wa
ko na Sikani odia. Debut ADAKABRI meba. Sikana woje no. Wo wato akofa wa ade aba. Wo de wo profit. Wo de wo operational cost bibia ato so. And now say meje 5 cities. Government say me dey 3 cities meboa. Enti ebe 3 cities or 5 cities na o de beto so meboa.
Ebe o de 3 cities be come na 8 cities. And also, so they refrain from adding the VIP bit.
And no, bit. Se wo bu mra so
enu ntina so bi metra no say the
side enya wo dia
enu so madwom
ena yase wo madwom ase wo sika na esi
nka ho ma prices no
nko so asema wo kan menti ase bi nsania ma na wo ton no wo mfa we nto so
no ono wo hihye ne bibia no akosi 5 cities
ena make no
the VAT ni be
ena VAT no VAT ni eni meba eni mram
ewa mram
enti wo bu mra so
enu say the me madwom
enti to store mu na jade ton
enu wajade ton na go back to ire
ni enti ameka se jai ni se che se wo no ti wo no wo ya wo niema yi a enka ban de obi ba ho anka wo bu mfu omo ya wo niema yi a ena anka VAT no omo gi se ne ese omo si gina enka ban e de nipa e ba ho a enka wo bu mfu ni ameka wo ho ano no
o sa enti wo tu osesi ano
Aba ise 3 cities kan me ko store me kwaji a wo se okoto meba ni aboa ye den a wo na wo de ne sen wo de ne se ton wa de na make sure so obeji tax na odi ama ban wo nua no so ton de ono so beton no ono so agi ama ban wo nyi wo de ni nti no obi de ka ho no ono ogia na ono ne de ne kosoro sa ne ebu man sa ne ya de
amen
me ba o shop fufuro na akoto a wo bia ye receipt ni ma wo ne ye print ma wa VAT ni so
ama
wuntu ya
ma menka bakwase mbe nkyerɛw mpanimfo mienu bi no mu nyina na omutomfo ndaka wo komase eye panyin so adwa na eye panyin sane agya na panyin sane agya de agya won pese efundaka wa ba be free fundaka ya wan tena se na akwa ye ni wie na agigi skari wie abaka kyese ya boka no wanfa no fundaka ska amre no enti yenya yie no yesi nkonwa no ono so aba be sina konwa wo ba bia ye gye so abode no enti wonu panyin se ne agya no bedi ka gye so abode no to the tune of ni fundaka no ni nsaka ni fundaka sika wia no agya ho no kɔ de aka nyina mo ne ya enti Ghana Revenue Authority mimi me stop na wo no menyi VAT ma ban enu nti wosi bi ma obi akonwa ntena so mema ni nsuo nom mema ne baabi obadwo nso mema ne baabi obakɔ toilet na bi kura me ne mema edi so asanfa ne hwenum amo asama ne bi adi na on the basis we obagye wo 3 cities na ma na nkrofo maka se meme no ma board ne me kura me master anatem ano no iwei
am I yes so
hey
you see the only reason why a beer
what the VAT or pot I don't know how to VAT to store them more.
I said, no, I can't.
I don't know who can say you're already a
can. Must situate the now, a public now dream to say a be a phone or money case. But see, you cannot say you're situating you. Now you can't say, look, offer, they charge the VAT at the various shops. Your duty is about better, dear few. No, what charging me VAT, any other taxes, no. Submit it. Because I don't know what they are. Submit it to government.
And also they come and the price no cost.
Is it your problem? Because it is backed by law.
That's your problem.
No, Uko restaurant.
You are breaking the Uko restaurant today.
No, and the Uko restaurant. Who did you wha? Untu ya VAT. So would you be fear take away and the wood ya VAT.
Exactly.
And the war back catch that will say. And they now know yet now says say Obi ko boka 63 cities. Ewa agbamami. Not just the taxes, including levies. They can't win no. Extra 13 cities. And the back home and the say, Waboka 75 cities. And Mammy so take a year I got a inch and from an airboy once and a name Wakan kind and water Banku 20 cities. Now, yet then, what the transfer because Agbamami Banku 75 cities, as opposed to West Banku 20 cities. And it was say, rate now what they are to swan, the normal boy was and crop one top. And your
ambit to reduce the cost by force. Who work of our normal? The approved taxes are banned here to why is what you must apply.
I want you to see, Sika what they cry normal buy, what they and they giving the economic figures, what they 600 million, and what they cry normal buy, yeah. Obeto no money be we now person was come back to 600 million. No one in 1.1 billion.
Fam running show in some can say because of that.
And was one kojo.
Obi anu ni problem.
Odabi of fam.
So in fact obi kra me na sem yetiawa. That was one kojo. Obi anu ni problem. Tina fie ni hwe de compete no.
Wofa on the uhwe ni ye pa. Ye nkrofo mo.
Mame kan imported yi na de ba ye no.
We nyem Google.
Google say imported inflation no. And Google say imported inflation no.
And you say bia me
papa na argument. Google say what is important. Or Google say Google say a search engine. Google ni economist. What is imported inflation? And Google say imported inflation is the general and sustainable price increase due to an increase in cost of imported products. This price increase concerns the price of raw materials and all imported products or services used by companies in the country. Imported inflation is also referred to as cost inflation. Saying a search engine Google, what can you? Eti ya twa edwuma die no so
na edu mi so
na edu so
enti sa
edu so de na enim ni pakro
enti sa debate no ye dey atu nche
okay
Google dey near clear over na on that issue no
approach of the GRA are they assisting traders into compliance
and I make I say
and after they
are wrong GRA approach no so wrong frankly speaking let me tell you there's a problem with GRA communication need tax education. That is the problem we have in the country. Now, omuto mubuasi. Echo around and crowd for like what the VAT is all about. I think said they will understand and they will not go and close their shop. And the problem is on the two sides. When crowd for also be shop. Also never na otoye no. Ebe kadem. Ebe sensu. Nia ebe say no be nti
na so see about na so okona so koto sanitary pad no anya bi anto a na afi no wanka so waka ho asem
on say some people will open their shop onu so obi a
and can afford to so so tum
nti I think say on the GRA part no
framework ben
they should take their time
operate within
they should take their time and do proper education. I beg them. That is the problem we have in the country. Tax payment is very difficult. Obi any like I said or tax anybody there. It's about skills they will put in place to train the people and do proper communication to the people. Say me, I get their beat. Ushe ora conferata the last budget okay no. Say some figure be say tax no about 90% every Greater Accra. All the other regions in
that's it, 3%. It is just
but meanwhile we have a lot of shops. Say tax no. Chunk of every the indirect tax angle. Direct tax is about 30%, 70% every indirect tax. And that's the shops I'm preaching. We have a lot of companies and shops in Ashanti region. In Jabia, South Africa, no. That is the reason why they have put up this means of collecting data. But I think it's a counterproductive measure. They should do proper education, proper communication. If they have gone around to say all these things, me, I believe people will understand. Of course, people will reject. But once they are aware, say GRC, now say your VAT, say, and I think Obi Baho, Mutuandi, we are obeying no. I think people will be aware and understand. So on that score, no, GRC should take the blame. On Wafa. Yeah, they should take the blame.
Explanation on the bar tea and say they are putting in
and no crime I mean
you see
na no so matiti sika dia ko shia journalist for bi o as what this will be akasa o matiti sika ko shia o mo so amu akokasa ne ade
you were very credible media house
and your credibility twetwe no bi aso
to social media yen nyina ye befa
buy airtime and come and talk
twetwe no bi aso
before they can explain
mienu and o mo dia fra there's baako a and no yes certified electronic system
exactly
EV8 you know
exactly.
And no targeting about
when you link to the system
500 companies
of
which
we did education some of these things
50
communication
of the 50 no 25 are plugging in 25 no some plugging in
yes.
And no big malls no near the masha asia almost to no and sana this aspect of almost so entro a VAT receipt you know I must have flat rate of 3%.
Proper communication. When you know about what is going on. Because on say
power play and wait time so yen wait time so yen wait time nyanso ye man contract.
One of the reasons are and brenu is about the low tax ayejino.
Yes.
14% of GDP. Meanwhile, we should near Ghana, we could have collected more. But you see, GRA on my posture.
Informal sector.
Me, I go there all the time to go and fast. Customer service care. Yes. So find a nice way to.
How do you assist
because the law
compliance?
No, because the law backs them. So they think they can do anything. You also have counter, action from the other side.
You see, another reason is the fact that your GG taxes now. Yes, the year maximum for the whole tono. The impact, and also the BR, but you have no right as a businessman. Said the approved rates as I would charge you obi or which I know they charge. Just go and pay, right? And there's no way any of them can say no man or the ban because you are charging a port in Intino. Or banners will send the abetusu or your friend say ne point of sale no a man in normal buakoso. I mean, the Nipan or Babeton dear or Babetona dear, right? Until the over to me atono, submit what you have collected as taxes to the appropriate quarters. Not GRA so education or money cost, but I am happy that this kind of synchronization or more here with this latest technology to ensure say they will rope everybody in. Now, can you imagine? See a Tiankasa Yukrum. Now these shopping malls are owned by foreigners. They are making quantum in terms of sales. They will close their shops just because they don't want to pay taxes to the nation. I mean, what is this? We cannot sit here for people or foreigners to just come and walk over us, take their monies in terms of capital flight, and then the country suffers. Who shared this 7-year development plan now? Come and a year the last one was say we welcome foreign investors in the country, but you must do your business in such a way that you leave a certain portion of your profit here for investment to help the people. You don't just repatriate everything. And we must also look at our cap now, the amount of money you can take out of the country in terms of what foreign. We should look at it and grade it down. Say they will leave some here to cushion our economy in terms of our hard currency, etc. Because they are taking the monies out of the country.
Obi maybe I will pay a system of formal to say unya pay slip. Pay income tax out here.
I said yati.
And I make a no
pay as you earn.
Say the way almost income tax in the most of us income tax no. And so why I will pay
would net receipt.
Would net now correct yati for income tax. What here we do say show.
Your stomach will burn you.
You want to ha. Omunya 3, 4, 5 times more than ye nipa bebrenya.
Because wouldn't develop a framework Emma or no utuabi. The informal sector will be earning so much. So and I would deposit now. What dress come and say we a white collar job and to do no informal sector no. Isika award I want to take by his earns. He earns an income.
You are more than 13% to crowd your salary as staff. It is our GRE. No queening a man, you may be any more a yarding. As I saw with Jessica. The yet mo crom hanqua, dear. Obia yet maybe so to ya a quapasso. Maybe a 2 to say so to ya near a man I want yano and who said Nancy. Yeah, you so into bois as opposed to a 2. Taxes, no taxes.
Politically correct.
So be a tax. And the Juma. And when I
you use the word.
And I politically correct. Ya Kabumua. Now, my no, Akoso. But say a bet no crum. No, Bibu to ya. No, being so soon to ya. I don't know what you are so. What the choice? Now, say, me who's a minerals commission for almost so cast someone to airtime. Who's a minerals commission? Thursdays, Omoko Metro TV, original TV, as some Matisel, despite someone mobile best. I don't know more. You see, our local Minerals Act for local content, amendments. Yeah. I say Ghana for young to me are getting involved in the mining sector. Nye galam say mining sector and a kakraka elmo be kitchen. Na dana me tie omo see you. Now oche the media see or the Bema Mr. Isi. I see the deputy no Evelyn Che. Oh okay, there be me who Evelyn. Me who see you no. No oche mu say answer na mra we yi bay. Muni say o se na ye kra mining companies no. Omo kra overall. I read konongo haya overall fufuo kra South African company and wo fufuo di ma if you be sell say fear 9 years and na sa de ne am mu agya afa say Ghana for na e sa ne ma no se ne minerals commission afi ase GRE for mo so quarter time na mo mra me chire ye mu na ye ti ase so ho bia no GRE no onko fie niam young men and women na aka e ya we school mo page ma ye no mo meye bi na mo pesa dodo enye GRE pe ukwa ministry si chief directors ni bebre time aso omo bu sisi ho aden dabi kwa no ntum ni nyan say galam say our hands are up and why and e be kan bi amayen obi 5 minutes mo mi ntie you ofa say galam say issues no e be do there it's more than I don't know more than terrorist attack. I'm telling you, Galam say no. Nancy Ghana water, waka. And a chemical warfare. Yes, they said it will get to a point that they can't treat the water. Oh, mama, 2 years. I'm gonna see a back. And it's a serious issue. We have to come together. But me, I think say apart from over, thank God say we a lawyer. Apart from the fact, they say every law firm your doors are open. Say ubia or assembly. Or the next I think morality is also key. And morality doesn't come in the law. Yeah. You're not getting me. Can't say. I am not talking about. Can't say. Morality. It is the passion of the slaves. I'm not talking about the law over team you. Who a law firm? Me just say ora. Taxi driver. Sa taxi driver what tikanum. Monya so ne yellow ni so wo ye adwuma. Wo stop no. Na so won fa nko so wutu o ma chire ho no mu a. Oni tumi so timi ka kire say menko. Also doko. It is will be any law firm. Let's will be here representation. National issue say. National issue say. No. National issue say. We are former chairman of the party. Former chairman of the party. Is that right? It is right.
It is right.
As a student lawyer. As a student lawyer. I can't mention it. Let me say. Ababa one night ni bi na yekoku no wo mankesim na Regina papa no agiatum clear wagiatum say ono na we anye bi me na me ye ti me chire mu say we dia onupo lawyer
me check on cancer what you to man ka judge no on ka say on
make us my lawyer say what Ghana nyina say omo nyama no judge be appoint lawyer man
you see on say me about ni American on you
morality the fan
morality
of the issue no me can one say na me can say
na say no whatever lawyer obefa no obedi for na say whatever lawyer obefa no obedi bim
yen judge incrofo no and let's condemn them before I me can say no for me
I didn't know such chambers
but ni American say such a national issue big issue say galam say queen I am been Ghana for I say Lord again of our lawyer Lord the court share opponent the loopholes in his debate and argument and I can't say more. It means that is what the former national chairman, a member of the ruling government, and I believe said do a former he has been given some post. I don't know for sure, but Bawumia or maybe your chamber now say make a court then advance an argument looking at the loopholes I want near the state attorney Kano. Over it's serious.
I think it's serious.
Over serious.
And then
why can't you give it to any other chamber?
No, one family other chamber. One open
for ethics and morality.
Which ethics?
Why can't you give it to other chamber?
What about the issue?
Are you aware, say, if you are a national chairman and secretary,
national chairman,
maybe say, are you aware, say, we are national chairman.
Then the newspaper, newspapers,
secretary, no. Cabinet meeting, Ukobi. Are you aware? Cabinet meeting, Ukobi.
It is newspaper.
Galamsey issue has been discussed over and over at cabinet meeting. Oh, far. See, national chairman.
Former national chairman.
No, former. Onya Sika from this ruling party. Still is enjoying from this ruling party.
I mean, how can you say that?
Documents you have evidence and facts. No. How can you? It tells you, say. Galamsey has said no. NPP party is not ready to solve it. It tells you, say, they are not ready to solve the Galamsey issue. NPP.
Why a mistake? I know, sir, many are doing anyway under your watch and a law student. Yeah, but go quack on anyway. What for? Idea bon can say. But
in the law, there's no morality.
What you see,
they were your business. Where your law? Where your burning your dinner court? Morality.
Ama,
and you showing them. What them and you showing them.
Ama, me, I am happy because I want to be who and pray. This particular move by Freddie Blay. Wouldn't vote or actually Munchain.
Aye.
Do you know any opposition should be happy for this move? Because it tells you clearly that this is a group of people who are in full support of the degradation of our forests and river bodies. Right? Papa move way, nobody can tell me say it is because of financial so can my train radio and I will agree with you. But for Freddie Blay, so yes, can't know what this assembly. Now, yeah, it is even alleged before Aisha One was arrested, the 3 days before she was arrested, there were a lot of meetings.
It's a year lawyer being defended.
Yeah, cancer. The beer of free by Freddie Blay.
And Sese Aisha One and in a conspirators, no. And so a lawyer of their choice.
They can get back this thing
one lawyer. That's it. Also, the lawyer for the other four. Aisha One lawyer, any
Aisha One, the other four would have been.
But the point still remains, and Sese Omunya lawyers of their choice,
offer the Sese Omunya. But for more
lawyers are one penny.
You see, what for we are lawyers,
it's up on a charge. As I catch and say, who denied the opportunity to choose lawyer or
get any lawyer? You see, get any for ethical and moral values.
Yes.
I'm person your
But see, lawyer when they bet me to charge no because we tear we call conference no. We tear the solicitor neka, we tear the barrister neka, we tear the appreciation of the law sir. We bet me to charge.
Offer.
Because say lawyer so we tear kwala school fees. No because woman in so case we cases me because dollars ka class free move ba. No because woman in so case we. Na woman case me
offer. I
am saying emotions.
The same galamsey case last year. Miami Niapenyi Baba Jamal. He was able to get bail for about 4 or 5 Chinese.
In opposition.
They are all politicians. They are all politicians. Not the chairman of the party. Your party chairman is Stephen Tim.
No, former.
Former.
Former chairman, why you? Adi a mama no kotena fie kodi hia mudidi ya mama ne bia ne owu ye no the blade ya wo kotena fie ne ye go ati ana
oko cabinet
catch am so mo come on
mama nka bi
issues our information
mama nka bi ama kasa meeting
our information
the blade no nipa for conspirators no and we represent you aye ashawan no
without ashawan
I'm for pressure to be asma ni nya adwuma a wo ye didi
without ashawan they wouldn't have been
mami check in some 1 or 2 number 1 yeah if you say me kan me say court them nya sori them
emra
lawyer ni bia be catch or judge ni be catch or say ye fi adisua na sia call first year na that morality case ni dey abeto anim okay nkrofo bi na na say omutu kwan won nsuo so boat no ekose ye na na afem aye den ye fe ne shipwrecked wo ho akwala ba akwum no yare pa omo atena nsuo no so omo nya nsuo nom omo nya hwe nom akwala young man bi no yare chese obi ahwe a akwala ni bewu na omo ko meeting no omo take vote no omo ku akwala no na omo we no
survive ye
ade na omo de survive ye ade chie 2-3 days ala ye hu omo na ye de omo abafie na ye de omo ko gina court dem se wo ye judge na de sasem we betu anima
ase na omo survive
akwala no nka ye de obewu enti sa na wo defense be ye de hwe akwala na obewu ara tie nyina ye tena se nyina ye bewu de
papa akwala
be ka ba papa akwala me ka ba wo kasa man kasa
medical doctor to tell you say the child will die at all cost medical report
asem me start me say omo na nsuo so omo nya shipwreck medical doctor ni ho the issue of the morality na me kan wo no wo be ka say nipa one part be ka say na say akwala na practical we yes so ye nyina ye ntimi ntina sini ye wu enti ye kunu na yare obi so be ka say say me bia be me kan mu ye na mu hu se mu be mu ye nyame enti wo judge now and now nipa na wo se wa ye wadwi se ubesua mra no some morality issues na say we yi free wo training mu ti ye kwa yen ye free mu first one ene ye number 1 say na be ya wo beti ase se nipa bia hia defense before the law no matter how bad the person is lawyers ne judges ne legal system no meba ayati say Jesus Christo sa wo ginu tum se wo kra na waje nkwan fa ho ne obone a waye odo obone bechew saa na nipa bia oye nipa owo Ghana ha oye bonni na ye den na nye se den wache no wanim na make so obi akuku obi e de na akwa akoshe fom ya che no waje atum so no na ye ono kura po wo lawyer etu ntimi nka nche me say Aisha wan ne nkrofo Aisha wan ne de ono wo ne lawyer de daw nipa 4 na omo de abar omo say ye rafa display law firm e na omo pe
ehon no mu free
so ntimi stop no law firms bebrebe wa Ghana yi me si bi prefer the blade ya wo se ma me nkofa
na wo di mi ko gina
ma no wo bi ba ya me ba e ba law firm no nsusu ho no nsusu no law firm no nsusu wa right so no su behwem se case yi ya nsusu ye hwe ya abrabo a ye bo ye business ye pesika ye hwe ye ho ye ba law mu se ye nsu ye beji sika de ahwe ye ho enti ye nsu ya case na enya bone
cases of this nature so ba me hu se ya so ye
me ba enya first case nsusu a ya ginie
foreign currency
enye first case ayajinie enti me question am dey ba mu say mo see oye MPP former chairman me kan kwa ponyo onupo na lawyer no me ba enyo na lawyer ni chamber na wono abie na lawyers for nkwala na wo na edi ho adwuma enti because say
na managing partner
ni managing partner because all different the blair we bie ni law firm ni nti no man the law firm ni nkwankwa jigala say case bi anye
no mu wi o tuatua taxes atuatua electricity atuatua water
Uncle Fred wajia wachire bi ba fine
Sanji bi
me kwa ba be intern wo
come on
okay muntie
muntie try dey
time I see you know na George na good yeah ma George was it
ono na mudidi na temo
be ba and afi ono nso anka ye Supreme Court made a panel anka obey the president of the panel me boa na wafa she me boa but because I send fan hunti or see I don't want to be part.
Now Freddie Blair no panel. How does that come into this? Freddie Blair judge.
A different panel.
Georgia. Georgia no recruiting home from a case. Why? Who is me raising issue?
Moral and ethical values.
Hey, I take she will be influenced. Now the one said, "Wakwa courtroom. Your free case na my lord, Milord, amicus. So I'm amicus. What's up, Miss Ora? From that family.
And Timon can case. Just
vote on
Uncle Fred, we just have a big boom bam with Jay.
I said that quite an interesting episode this afternoon. Abra or Babesia or demo, the intellect and in the knowledge, and in the shrill voice crown. What me and the program, no so I there. The friend Ellen Amada Dekon, I just say MPP no Wojinamu. Na what did you man mummy, you know? Adute Alote of the NDC, and I Sanitano of the political analyst group. I said that, and I mean, team, no, Yadidamunina answer Mama Yenya, quite an interesting program today. Na Bripemo, so you have a fremo. Yadamasino Sosono, na Yade, as that's so Emma Olakoku Michael. What in a better nasi? Now what do you coffee? DJ foreign atanachi. But for now, dear, ADAKABRI Mamudu Wosioma. Me man teach you my dear, me better than Mudema Biamsi one. Ayama me piama. Next week is Robert could leave. Let's just say about actually abo. And the Pajiko Damiadone, Major Rosajimai, and I see woman so. Na a abrupt my bank or name banana Safo. So Ashe, social media handles in their mind. If for now, dear. Yentopia. Freddie Blair. Mapo. Etema. What's me? Bentopia. Yawajuma.